So you have, so much time ahead of you with experimenting, and like you'll find out what works and what doesn't. Just go out there and try things. Like you're gonna get booed off stage a lot, but that's how you learn. You know what I mean? Like everything just takes time, and so you have to experiment to learn anything. And so if you just keep doing the same thing that you've been doing, or if you try to stay, safe about it, it's not going to get you anywhere because you're not going to learn anything about yourself. You know what I mean? So you have to go out there, you have to experiment, you have to put things on the line in order for anybody to tell you what you're doing wrong or what you're doing right.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Stream Key podcast. It is Monday, and we're back here as always. This is our show where we talk about how to level up your streaming game on Twitch, YouTube, Caffeine, Mixer, DLive, everything else coming out there. I'm GreenChord, the media marketing director for TRUgaming, and today we have 4 guests on the show. We're trying things a little bit differently. Gonna just put the panel as big as it can be with the news segments. So first of all, we have DonTranX coming back to the show. Don, how's it going, man?
Hi, how's it going?
Good. Thanks.
How
for
was
coming
your
on.
weekend?
Good. Everybody good weekend?
Yeah. A lot of Friendsgiving, a lot of drinking going on. I'm really like a large right now. I ate too much food, but other than that, things are going great.
Gotcha. Thanks for being on, man. We also have Shavrolet coming back for the second time, I think. Is that right?
Yeah, second time now.
Nice. How's it going, man?
Doing fantastic. I get to wake up and I get to talk to you guys, so that's always a good time.
Awesome. You're looking pretty dark over there, but you and Vel are kind of like in the dungeons today compared to MPI.
Oh, I've got my stuff really bright, so I don't know.
Gotcha. Well, thanks for being on, man. We also have MPI coming back. He's going to be for the news segment, and he'll be our first caller this week. MPI, how's it going?
Good, man. Good. Glad to be back.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. And last but not least is Veli. Vel, how's it going?
I'm doing very well, man. How are you?
Good. Thank you for asking. I appreciate you always asking me that question.
Well, especially since it's your last time now.
Oh, geez.
What? No way.
Oh, sorry, spoiler.
Yeah, guys. So I'll just go ahead and say it. This will be my last episode hosting Stream Key. But we'll talk more about that towards the end of the show and kind of the transition there. But it's still gonna be a great show. Still everything you expect. So quickly, let's go through and remind people about what everybody streams here before we jump into the news segment. So start with Don. Just quick elevator pitch what you stream.
Yeah, I stream Rainbow Six, COD, little Apex, and sometimes I do just chatting.
Cool. Shav?
I do a lot of Clone Hero and music production, so a lot of music-based stuff just all around entirely.
Right. And for people who don't know, Clone Hero is like a Guitar Hero type game. Cool. So MPI?
I would say definitely a variety streamer. I play a lot of story-based games. We're getting ready to start Pokemon. Gonna get that nostalgia factor going with the old games from my entire childhood. Yeah, pretty much anything with a story. I'm interested and want to play it.
Gotcha. Cool. And Vel?
I stream mostly first-person multiplayer games, but I'm also doing like the new Star Wars game right now as well.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about that. That's what Vince and I were talking about.
Yeah, I saw you play
So
it.
good.
Awesome.
Customizing your own lightsaber is dope.
Yeah. All right. So for those of you guys who haven't seen this show before, the first 20 minutes or so we'll go through news, and MPI will be here with us for that, which we're thankful for. And then the rest, about the hour and a half after that, will be calls and questions. So you guys can call into the show and come on the panel like this with us if you want to. Or if you can't, you can just @TRUgaming and tag us with a question or a take, and we'll discuss that. Also, during the news segment, you're encouraged to @TRUgaming with your own takes on what we're talking about, and we'll kind of bring those up as we're discussing the news this week. So let's jump right into that. First big thing is the Twitch studio is now in open beta. So we talked about this in the past. It's now available to anyone who wants to use it. You don't have to get invited to it. I took a peek at it this morning, and I think a couple of us have played with it. I think Shav more than anybody else here. But what do you guys think? If any of you guys, so Shav, you have downloaded it and tried it out a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, so far from what I've seen, it's not too bad for like an entry-level thing. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it if you're used to like OBS or Streamlabs OBS or anything like that, or XSplit. I don't know too many people that use XSplit exclusively, but it's definitely something good for people starting who don't know what to do. But I would say that there are still some advantages to using OBS if you're used to that. So obviously experiment for yourself, see what's up. But for me personally, I didn't see much advantage for me to switch to it from OBS.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Did anybody else have a chance to download it and play around with it a little bit?
No, but since Shav played with it, I was curious about it. I'm pretty sure it's probably geared towards Twitch, right? When you use it, did you find it more like OBS Studio, or did you find it more like Streamlabs? Because Streamlabs is kind of like user friendly as well. And you're kind of saying that the Twitch one is kind of like that as well. Is that more like Streamlabs or more like OBS Studio?
It's more like Streamlabs. It's pretty so like if you just get the standard OBS software and you're new, it's gonna be kind of confusing if you haven't watched any videos or anything on it. Versus like Streamlabs obviously is more like, oh, this is what you can do, or here's automatically you can do your widgets and stuff. It's kind of similar to that.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's very user friendly, especially if you're new, but there's not like too much crazy stuff you can do with it yet that I would recommend it over anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had the chance to download it this morning and poke around a little bit, just because I saw it was open. It was really, really easy to plug it in and get set up. I think even easier than Streamlabs OBS, honestly, because Streamlabs OBS feels like a cleaned up version of OBS. I would say it's still kind of got the same layout and everything, whereas Twitch Studio kind of has its own layout that doesn't feel the same as OBS.
Yeah.
And I think honestly, it's a bit cleaner and a bit quicker to get into it than Streamlabs OBS. But the customization was a bit hard to figure out. As someone who's used to the OBS style of things, I had to kind of, troubleshoot a little bit and figure out where I could customize things. The other thing is it's really Twitch branded, so it gives you a bunch of default scenes and things, and they're all, Twitch colors or Twitch logos and things, Twitch emotes all over it. So it's very much meant for Twitch only and not for Mixer or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder. I'll be really interested if it actually uses like less resources than OBS Studio, then that would actually give me a reason to jump, honestly, because my PC is not the best PC, but like since I switched from Streamlabs OBS over to OBS Studio, it's been like a huge change. And I did it because a bunch of my friends told me to, and Vel told me to change too. So I switched over, and it's been great. So if this Twitch thing is even less resources, which I'm not sure if it is, but if it is, that'd be something I would kind of be interested in, not gonna lie.
Yeah, for sure. MPI or Vel, you guys have any thoughts on Twitch Studio?
I'm just excited to see where it goes. I haven't really played around with it too much yet, but it can do some really cool things.
Yeah, I haven't really tried it yet, but I mean, looking at it, it looks kind of like almost if like you stream from directly from your console, but still has the extra push that a PC can give you. So it kind of gets you that best of both worlds, that it's very simplified and everything is right there, which is super helpful, especially for like if you're streaming off of a single PC setup.
Right.
You don't have to worry about, I have my OBS and now I have to have like a Chrome browser open, which is going to use 90% of your RAM. So
yeah,
it looks like it's super nice. I might download it and at least play with it a little bit. I don't know if I would
I'm
use
probably
it,
gonna
but
try it too.
I would play with it at least.
Right. I think the biggest thing will be this might lead to a lot more people trying out streaming, because it is kind of hard to figure out streaming for a lot of people, especially since OBS and Streamlabs are third-party things. So if Twitch really pushes this once it comes out of beta, it could be cool to see an influx of streamers trying things out.
Yeah. And I wonder if it would keep more people streaming on Twitch versus jumping around from platform to platform, because once you get it set up, if you don't want, or if you don't really understand OBS and things, it's like, well, I could learn that whole software, or I could just keep using this one and stay on Twitch.
Yeah, and we might see other platforms come out with their own streaming software, like Mixer, YouTube, things like that, to compete with this in the future.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is like it's comparable to like seeing other streamers go to other platforms and stuff. It just opens up more competition. The more there's companies making stuff like that, the more they're going to want to challenge each other to do new innovative stuff, which Streamlabs is already really good at. So just having more competition, it's just going to push them more to do more stuff for people. And I think it's just going to give more options overall, even if you don't use the Twitch stuff and other people don't. So I don't really see it being a downside or anything. And if anything, it helps out new people. So
right.
Yep. And my guess is you can't stream on Mixer on this software. It's my guess, or stream anywhere else.
I didn't try it.
I haven't tried, but
yeah, I don't think they would make it very easy to do if you can. So that was the big first thing. The second, so this is not directly streaming related, but since a lot of people who are on Twitch are using YouTube at the same time, I think this is important to mention. And that's the COPPA changes to YouTube, the Made for Kids thing. You guys might have seen this. So a quick rundown. if you're uploading YouTube videos from now on, legally, you have to mark whether your videos are, quote, made for kids or not. And that is wherever you are in the world. You know, even if you're not in the US, you still have to do this. And this has caused a lot of worry on the YouTube side of things, because if you do mark your videos as made for kids, then you lose a lot of features on YouTube. So the biggest one is targeted advertising, which means that a lot of people are seeing like up to 90% cut in revenue, which is huge. Obviously, if you're making YouTube full time and you lose 90% of your revenue, that's maybe not sustainable anymore. But the big picture of this, you might think, well, just market not for kids, right? The thing is, it's not exactly per your own terms. So you might not think that your content is for kids, but YouTube can decide that it is. And if there's that situation where they flag it as made for kids, but you marked it wrong, you can get fined. And there are some crazy numbers going around. I saw up to like 42K threats of fining. There have been no fines yet that I've seen. If anybody's seen one, please let me know. But this just has a lot of people worried about creating more content on YouTube and kind of paranoid about marking their stuff. And is my stuff for kids? I don't know. And any guys, MPI does some YouTube, I know. Any of the other guys do a lot of YouTube right now?
I've been doing a little more recently.
Okay.
So I like this past week, I uploaded a couple things and noticed like you had to click it. The biggest thing I've seen pertaining to that, and if I get it right from what I understand, is if YouTube's AI decides your stuff's for kids, even though you mark it as mature content, you can still get fined and YouTube screws you over. So you essentially have no control as a creator. And so it basically just kind of screws over anybody that makes content overall. And it's just kind of, I think it's bringing down YouTube a lot, and it could be disastrous here in the next few months if that keeps going down that route.
Yeah, one thing that Useless Wizard said in the chat is that FTC isn't enforcing it until January 1st, which I guess is why we haven't seen any fines or anything yet. Did any guys have thoughts on all this? I'm sure you've seen some people talking about it for the last week.
Man, they do not make it easy to like just be comfortable as a YouTuber. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's been so many things over the past like forever that have just made it so like I don't know, where people just have to keep their heads up about everything. You know what I mean? Like, there's always something, and there's always something around the corner where I just feel like they're taking money from people. And like, it's not like they're stealing money or anything, but they're just eliminating the ability to make the money that you're already currently making. But it happens all the time. So there's no security in anything like that. So they're hurting their own platform, and like, they're still going to make their money. They're still going to, like, you know, YouTube's going to be set no matter what they do, for at least for a while. But for someone like me who streams on Twitch and everything, like, streaming on YouTube does not sound like anything I want to do with this current thing happening right now. Like, I don't even want to consider like even trying it at all, because like, what if I try it and then I say it's not for kids, but kids get targeted towards it, and then I get like, you know, $43,000 fine, you know, because I attempted to just do one stream just to see what it was like. Like, no, I'm not touching that with anything. You know what I mean? It's too sketchy.
One thing I'll say is that I couldn't find any specifics about live streaming on YouTube.
Right.
There probably is something out there about it. I just, in my Googling, I couldn't find anything. So
but if they're going to be doing this to like the recorded stuff, who's like, you know, it's probably going to be happening to all content, you know, no matter if it's live or not.
Yeah, for sure. So it's a tricky situation. I know Andy in chat said, I'm concerned that if I upload something and mark it as not for kids, and YouTube decides that it is, it's considered my fault. So yeah, that's the thing that people are worried about, right? And a lot of people, so especially in gaming, this is a big impact, right? Because especially if you stream games that have some sort of kid audience, if you're into Fortnite or League of Legends or, you know, Smash Bros in my case or something, even if your main audience is geared at, you know, mature or whatever, the fact that your game appeals to kids is something YouTube takes into consideration. So that's where it's a lot of worry from people.
Yeah, and I think someone said it in chat that if this is how it's going to be, they have to have actual people look at this, not a bot, because like, I mean, you just said, you know, Smash Brothers has a big kid audience, so the bot's going to go, oh, this is a Smash Brothers video, great, this is for kids. But then when you start listening to it, you know, the person's, you know, dropping all kinds of curse words, could be saying anything in that video, but the bot didn't catch it because it just saw this is a game made for kids, so it's probably for kids. it's I think the biggest problem I have with it is that it is YouTube, because they're historically not good at communication. So you see things happen, and then they're just kind of like, I don't know, whatever, dude, figure it out. But now this is, we have this huge deal coming up where I don't feel like almost anything that I make is probably made for kids. Kids could probably watch it and it's fine. It's not like I'm making crazy content, but I don't intend it to be made for a child. So where does that line come in?
Yeah,
I
this
feel
comes.
like they're gonna have to have people actually doing this, not rely on an algorithm of any kind. Because as soon as one thing goes wrong with that, and somebody gets this $40,000 fine, they're going to turn around and sue YouTube.
Yeah, and we just talked last week about the Markiplier stuff, right?
And YouTube's trying to pull people over. They're like, yeah, we're going to be huge in streaming, blah, blah. And then they go, oh, yeah, by the way, you could get really screwed. I don't want to go to YouTube.
Yeah. I don't do a lot of YouTube stuff. I'm, just listening to what you guys are saying. And it's just like, as much as you probably want people to look at these videos, there won't be, it'll be an algorithm that's just, there's too many videos out there, too much volume, not enough people, it's going to be algorithm. And my guess is going to be like a very imperfect system in the beginning. And then, they'll slowly improve, maybe, hopefully, who really knows, but at the end of the day, now when you load a video on YouTube, it's just going to have a little more risk to it now. That's all it is, that's the scary part.
I feel like, honestly, it's a little bit overblown. I think this is something that's going to be very rare we'll see enforced, because I really think what they're trying to actually target is people who are abusing this system, and they are making, clearly their content is made for kids. Everything they do is the main audience, and they're making a ton of money off of it, because that's the thing that this is trying to prevent, right? This is not trying to get people in trouble who aren't appealing to kids, and YouTube decides they are or something, but that's kind of like a good faith thing, and YouTube could also just go the other way, like we've seen, and do a lot of automation that would lead to bad stuff.
My main concern isn't even monetary stuff, because even if I got high enough, in subscribers and viewership, I wouldn't care about the monetary thing. It's more just like, it's a supplement for streaming and stuff for me, and just like added content. And the biggest thing for me is especially like Guitar Hero, obviously that could be put as kids, but I have like drunk stream highlights and stuff like that up on YouTube. So obviously you don't want that marked as kids. And if they do stupid stuff where they're marking that for kids, I am not trying to be liable for that when I very obviously have in my title that it's a drunk stream highlight. So if they start doing stuff like that, I can see there being a lot of issues, and it's going to be not very good for YouTube, especially like if say a competitor in the next few months start coming out as like a platform and challenges Google, and they start doing stuff right, and they're not doing that kind of thing that YouTube's doing, I could see it being really detrimental for YouTube in the next half a year to a year.
Well, the thing is, like, this wasn't YouTube's choice, right? This is a result of government legislation, apparently, basically. So, like, another platform is going to have to go through the same thing. It's not like they can opt out of this, or basically, once they become relevant enough, the government's going to take action. That's why YouTube is getting this kind of thing, and Twitch isn't yet. But, there might be a world where Twitch does eventually, they have like the 13-year-old restriction, so that probably isolates that. But you get what I'm saying. It's all a matter of, once you hit a certain point as a platform, you're going to face stuff like this. That's kind of outside of your control.
Right. And I feel like the hardest part is, it sounds like they're almost doing opposite of what they should be. Is that they have to do this, which is fine. I get that. The government said you had to. You can't tell the government no, unfortunately. But instead of, it sounds like they want to put it on the creators, and then they don't want to put it on the creators at the same time. So I think it seems like what they should be looking at, and what a better idea is if I mark a video that says not made for kids, it's not for kids, then go, okay, cool, great, you didn't make it for kids, that's fine. We'll try to keep that audience away from it. When a video is made for kids, those are the ones they need to look at, because all it is a button that says this is or is not made for kids. So you make a terrible video that a child should never see, you mark it made for kids, a kid can see it. That's who they should be looking at. Not, I think they're trying to look at both sides. But if a video's made not made for kids, just let it be. Leave it
Well,
alone.
I think the main thing they're trying to get around is people who do make content for kids who falsely market as not for kids because they want the full share of the revenue, right? They don't want to see that 90% cut. So they're trying to get around the system, and then this is made to penalize that. But then there's all these other issues that we're talking about now that come out as a result.
My thing is like, that's where the fine comes in, because if you are as a content creator are being stupid and you are falsely advertising, then that's on you and you can get fined.
Right.
But if YouTube is marking my content and I get fined, no, I'm fighting that. YouTube's going to be paying for that. I'm not paying for YouTube screwing my content over and putting it as something I didn't mark, especially when I went out of my way to go through their system and say this isn't for kids. That's like my concern with it, is like, yeah, it's government legislated, but they're doing it really dumb where you can mark it and then like people can get fined after. That's fine. But if you go about the way where you're forcing people to mark their content as something that it's not something they want to market as, then that's where you start running into issues like that. So I definitely agree with MPI in that concept.
Yeah, I mean, that's the issue though, is they want to be able to combat that. When you mark something intentionally wrong, then they can deal with it. So
yeah, and that's how it should be. That's fine.
Yeah,
it should be worded that way though.
Yeah.
Right. I think they could have communicated a bit better, right? Like, here's what we're trying to stop. If you're in these categories, this won't affect you or whatever.
Yeah. And the way that they've worded it is 100% to cover their butt. But
right.
You know, it's YouTube.
There multiple times, we're not a lawyer. We can't advise you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I mean, they still have, you know, until January before these things are even going to be enforced by the government. So maybe they're still working out on their end of how do we do this the right way. And right now it's kind of just like, here's the broad general idea that we have to do. And then we need to, by January, you know, kind of reel that in a little bit.
Yeah, let's just march down to YouTube, you know? Let's just raid YouTube and just tell them what we're all about.
Cancel YouTube.
You know?
I'm going to send a strongly worded letter to YouTube.
We could do like the Area 51 raid, but with YouTube.
Dear Mr. or Mrs. YouTube.
Naruto run right through the headquarters doors.
I am upset.
So those are the big pieces of news for this week. There's some small things that came out. You guys might have seen the esports awards were Saturday, I think. Some cool stuff there. I think the biggest one that we care about is Streamer of the Year. Got announced to be Dr. Disrespect. I think Courage JD was the runner-up. There were a lot of people up for nomination. You know, what you'd expect: Shroud, Ninja, Tim, Pokimane, a couple others that I can't think of. But he ended up winning. I think it was second time in 2 years, if I remember correctly, or at least he's won this twice. That was kind of cool.
I think he's won it twice, because I think Ninja got Streamer last year.
Yeah, that would make
sense.
sense.
Was it Personality of the Year last year?
Or it might have been Personality. I know Ninja won one of those two.
I thought Tim won last year.
I don't think
somebody search this up.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know that Dr. Disrespect won it twice. Yeah. This was the second time winning it.
Yeah.
So he didn't
I think it's well deserved.
Yeah, he didn't have anything huge to say in his speech. I skimmed through it. Basically just thanking a lot of people. There was also, I just want to note that Twitch is still really aggressively paid advertising over the last week. They did an AMA with Nick A30, which is interesting. So they paid to have Nick go on the Fortnite subreddit and do it like an AMA with people. That was sponsored by Twitch. That was kind of interesting. A lot of people think that they're trying to push him as the new golden boy of Twitch in place of Ninja. A lot of people think that it's Tim and you can't get rid of Tim. You guys have any quick thoughts on that?
Nick's
I don't even know who that guy is
on Twitch for him to be like the quote unquote golden boy. Like, yeah, he's a top tier streamer and yeah, he gets a lot of views and he plays Fortnite, which is the most popular game, but you can't just like show up to Twitch and be like, I'm the guy now. Like, no, like, you know what I mean? Like, Tim the Tatman is like, in my opinion, like, I don't know. I think Ninja was honestly a better streamer than Nick, to be honest. But Tim the Tatman, I think, still has it right now on Twitch, at least.
I think if they did choose Nick A30 as like the golden boy of Twitch, you know, like Twitch can probably make him the golden boy, you know, but they probably chose the right person, because Nick A30 is super duper nice, you know,
Family
and he's
friendly.
Yeah, super family friendly. You know, if they chose a golden boy, I mean, it would be him. That's who I choose. He's
They've been
super.
Yeah, they promoted him a lot. He was on the stage at TwitchCon during the keynote.
Yeah.
And then doing this, and I feel like he's constantly on the front page, even though Tim and Lupo are too. So we'll have to see if they keep pushing that. The last little thing is, there's an update on disabling pre-rolls. So I don't know if they added this sneakily after we talked about it or not, but you can now bank up to an hour of pre-rolls, which is pretty cool, by running 3 minutes of ads. So we talked in the past, like there was a maximum of 20 minutes, which made it kind of ridiculous because you're just running ads every 20 minutes. But now you can at least bank up to an hour. You still have to run 3 minutes of ads, which doesn't feel great. But do any of you guys
That's terrible.
Any of you guys think that you'll use this with 1 hour? Does that make a difference to you?
No, I'd rather have ads as soon as people get into the stream than run 3 minutes of ad. No.
Here's my thing for it. So if because I don't think they've implemented the ad and picture stuff yet. Whenever they have that through, say if you have to step away 5 to 10 minutes, let your dogs outside or whatever. I have an intermission screen now, which is just a montage of Twitch highlights. Obviously, you can mute the ad or something, or have like the video playing in the background. In that scenario, I would probably do that because I still have my stream running when they have the picture-in-picture. But as of right now, where the ad overtakes the whole stream, I wouldn't do it. Not until they do the picture-in-picture stuff.
Okay. Don or MPI, you guys think you'll use it?
No.
Yeah, I'm not very big on ads. You know, maybe if I was a gigantic streamer, it makes more sense. But at my current state, I did one day I tested it out. I was like, yo, let me run some ads today, all day long. Let's see how it goes. Stream with ads. And at the end of the day, what I saw like came in my pocket, pretty much what I expected, almost like nothing. So in my opinion, I wouldn't do it. But this pre-roll thing, I think this question depends on like where you're at in streaming. Honestly, like how quote unquote big are you? And how money hungry are you? It's a really a preference thing. For me personally, I don't really care about ads at this moment.
I think also you should consider not necessarily the ad value, but the value of not having pre-rolls. Because I think a lot of us here would not be running the ads to make money in this case.
Yeah.
It'd be more just to avoid the pre-rolls. So I personally feel like I would try it out because an hour of no ads, no pre-rolls is pretty nice. When you get to come right into a stream, I think you could like start the stream 3 minutes early and just run them immediately and then just resume streaming as normal. And then, like you said, take a 3-minute bathroom break. That's not too unreasonable, I think. I don't know. I would try it out. MPI, do you have any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's weird. I feel like a lot of us are at a weird point because we've been streaming for so long and didn't have ads in the middle of our streams. So a lot of us have like an intermission screen if we have to step away for more than a minute or two. Like I have one if I have to step away for 5 or more minutes. It just says like, be back in a few minutes, and then I play music behind it. So to just be like, all right, I'll be back in a few minutes, ad, and then walk away, it's kind of like, whoa, this is kind of jarring. And I mean, like I know people could just mute it and look away from it, but I feel like if I was watching somebody every day and they did that, I'd kind of be like, what happened here? Did he mean to do that? Why are there ads
you
here
changed
now?
I don't know. I feel like that's just a matter of communication. Like before you run the ad, just be like, hey guys, I'm sorry to have to do this, but this is so we can get more people to come by the stream and grow the community. I'll be back in 3 minutes. It's not about the money. It's about getting more people in here, And if you're just transparent about that, I think people would understand.
Does that push more people in though?
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the question.
I think it does.
With
100%.
At least until they fix, because like supposedly the pre-roll ads for raids is a glitch.
Yeah.
Until they fix that, that would be a valid solution for that.
Oh, you're meaning
like
it
I
would.
said,
Okay, I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah, because like right now it's a glitch. If you're not subbed, you're getting an ad when you get rated into a stream. That's obviously a huge issue if you're getting rated for a couple hundred people, where 80% of that's going to drop off within like the next 2 to 3 minutes. So until that's resolved, I could see that being a solution. If you're like, hey, I got to go let my dogs out 5-10 minutes. I'm just going to run these ads real quick. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I just want to do this so we don't have any issues with anybody coming in viewing the stream, that kind of thing. But regardless, I don't think it's even going to matter once they do the ad and placement thing, because the way they debuted it, the ad's just going to be a small box on top of chat and you're still going to have stream up. So regardless, and when they put that up, I don't think it's really going to matter whether somebody has pre-rolls or runs ads or not, because it's not going to affect the streaming experience itself.
I mean, it'll affect it a little bit, but you may be right that you don't need to run ad breaks at that point, because if you can get into a stream and already right away see the stream in the top right, that's definitely a higher chance of staying through the ad and getting in there. And then once you're there, you don't have to have an ad for the rest of the stream. So that could be
Mhm.
valuable.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
I could see if I was gonna do something like this is for if you run 3 minutes of ads, you get an hour of no ads. I could see me just turning on my stream like 5 or 10 minutes earlier than I already do and just let it run ads.
Hmm.
Just so it banks the no pre-roll, but it doesn't interfere with anything when I'm actually streaming and it
Yeah.
matters.
I think I would try it too, honestly, because like there are plenty of times where I step away for 3 minutes anyway, and an intermission stream isn't really that much better than ads. I don't know. I feel like I would do it, but it's definitely a personal preference thing.
Yeah, I think it's too just a lot of people feel like just ads are just obnoxious at this point on the internet.
That's true.
And it's like I just don't want to see them anymore. Like anytime I go to a site and it asks me to turn off my ad blocker, I just close the website. I'm like, I don't care what's on your website. I don't want to see your ads anymore.
Just ask all of your viewers to install uBlock Origin, and then
Yeah,
you're good to
I'll
go.
put a link in your chat bot so it automatically gets them to the right place.
That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I could see trying it maybe like before my stream starts of just like here's a really long pre-roll of ads, almost like a movie. When you go to the movies, you have trailers at the beginning, and then you don't have the pre-roll for the next 2 or 3 hours. That could be good, but I don't know. I'm really on the fence about in the middle of the stream.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, those were most of the news pieces this week that I saw. If you guys saw something that I missed, please let us know. We can talk about it. We're going to open up calls and questions now. So if you want to join the show, you can go to the link right here in the chat. Go into the voice channel, and then I'll add you as a friend and pull you onto the show next. If you're a caller, you get priority to join the show. If you can't join the Discord, just at TRUgaming with your question or topic in chat, and we'll also get to that. But first up is MPI, who I hope brought a question or topic as our first caller here for the show. What do you want to talk about, MPI?
All right, I have a couple questions that kind of feed off of each other. So I wrote them down and everything, guys. I came prepared.
Wow.
I wanted to remember these questions when I came up with them the other day. So I do 2 streams per day. I do one in the morning, I take a 2-hour break, and then I do one in the afternoon into the evening. In the mornings, I've been playing like Destiny or Dead by Daylight, something that you don't have to be there to keep up on. And it's been they're fine streams, they're fun, but it's they get very repetitive over time because it's like I'm playing the same things over and over again. And then the afternoons are whenever I play a game with the story. So like we just played the Outer Worlds. It was only in the afternoons. So I've been trying to figure out, there's a lot of games coming out right now or that have come out in the past that I really want to play that are all story games. So like I haven't played a lot of the old Zelda games, things like that. I want to go back and play those. So I want to see, what are your thoughts on themed days for variety streamers? And the other question kind of that feeds with that is, would it be better to do the mornings of still just like Destiny, Dead by Daylight, just multiplayer, doesn't matter if you're not there, you won't really miss the story, and then afternoons for story, or do like one story game in the mornings and one story in the afternoons? I know that went around a lot, but
Gotcha.
that's how my brain works.
Who wants to kick this one off?
I will, I guess. I'm actually going to be kind of doing something like that for the first time today, where I'm not necessarily doing like a scheduled second stream anymore. I do my morning streams longer, but today after the podcast is over, I might be streaming some of the new Star Wars game a little bit. Because of that very reason, where I like to do my consistent things in the morning stream. Everybody knows that I play like Call of Duty or Siege or something like that. So it'll be nice to have that consistency for my viewers that know like I can watch them in the mornings. So I'll get the same content that I always do. If they want to, they can check out my Star Wars content, in the afternoon stream. And if not, they know exactly what I'm doing already. So I think any sort of like schedule or any sort of like planned anything is better for viewers. It might not always be the best for the streamer. Like that's where you have to kind of find that balance, because if you do have a scheduled thing, you might not be wanting to play that story game on that specific day, or any story game, you know what I mean? So but then again, like that's just with any day of streaming, where you might not want to play, games that day. You might just want to like sit there and chill, which is totally fine. But consistency for the viewers is super useful, and I think it helps them out a lot. It might not always work out in your favor on that specific day, but I think that anything that helps a viewer know exactly what the content is going to be at that stream is beneficial.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Don, you have thoughts?
Yeah, I think like what Vel said, schedule is in my opinion is the best way. Schedule, and so that way they know like on Tuesday you play this, I'm gonna show up for this, or they look forward to it. They tell their friends. I used to watch Lupo when he would stream Dungeons and Dragons. For some reason, I don't play that game, but it's like it's a fun stream to like have on in the background. So I would always make it a point to join to watch Lupo during his D&D stream, which I don't think he does anymore. But I think having a schedule, it's better to have one than to not. But ultimately, it's kind of up to you and your community. Like, what do they want to see in the morning? What do they want to see at night? And then I always say this: like, don't be afraid to mix it up. Switch it up and see what works. At the end of the day, what do you lose? Nothing. You really just lose nothing. So see what works for your stream. Switch it up one day, see how that works out. If it doesn't work out, then switch back. If you get positive feedback, maybe stick with it for a week, a month, see how it goes.
Awesome. Shav, you have thoughts?
Yeah, so I'm gonna kind of go off of what Vel said. So I think it would be important to try to, at the beginning of the week, lay out your plan for the week. So say if you want to do your normal schedule for like say 3 days out of the week, and then one of those days you want to do your story game. Maybe consider making that day that you want to do your story game, just making an extended stream that starts in the morning instead of doing a split stream. That way you get more of the story content done, you know what I'm saying? And then you can keep going into it. And then as well as that, you're exposing your consistent, like average just viewer base on normal days to new stuff that they may enjoy. And a lot of the time, those consistent people are there for your personality, not necessarily the game regardless. So a lot of those people will be there anyways. And if they're not, then obviously, that's just going to be a down day, and that you're just going to have to deal with it because, sometimes that's how it is as a content creator. And that's just something you have to bypass. But I think listing out a schedule at the beginning of the week, saying like, okay, so this is what we're going to do each segment of the day for these days, and then I'm playing this game for like say 6 hours this day. This is what our plan for the week is, and then laying that out on Twitter, putting like a graphic in Discord or something like that. I think that would be super beneficial to you. So all those lines, because when I was going like, I think January, I streamed like 200 hours total. I was doing like similar things where I was streaming like 8 hours overnight, like 12 at night to 8 in the morning, like a super jacked schedule. But I'd be like, I'm playing Clone Hero these days, and then I'm playing Overwatch or Rocket League these days, that kind of thing, just to give people variety. And just giving people that heads up, they'll appreciate that as well. And a lot of the time they'll be like, all right, I'm going to drop in and see what's going on and go talk to my friend, that kind of thing. So I think that'd be a good way to like maybe consider doing it. If you're absolutely stuck that you want to do split streams of the story mode on the one day, I would still make a schedule listing out what games you're going to play that day and say like, hey, we're not going to be doing Destiny this day. We're going to be doing this thing. But I think the whole schedule aspect is very important, especially with variety streaming, because that just opens up people to know what you're going to be doing when, if that makes sense.
Right. So yeah, like right now what I do is every week, I try to Sunday nights, I make the weekly schedule of like Monday through Friday. These are the times that I'm going to be streaming. If I'm going to be on StreamKey, I add that in there. If I'm going to be, somewhere else during a time I'm normally live, we put that all in there. So the schedule is set every week, and it's fairly consistent, except now with holidays coming up, it's already kind of starting to get wonky. But it's typically the same general times every week, within maybe an hour of each other, and that's usually on Mondays, as if things shift. So, and then the mornings or whenever it's kind of different depending on the day what I want to play, and then the afternoons it's the same story until we finish it. Like I don't jump around between 4 or 5 story games in the afternoons. Right. So that's kind of where I guess my question was more going, is like in the morning times when I would normally be playing a multiplayer game, is it too much to do 2 different story games, one in the morning, one in the afternoon?
I would just, so I was going to say anyway, I think this is something that there's not like a right answer to. It's going to kind of take your own experimentation and learning what your audience wants to see. So consistency is obviously very important, and finding a schedule and sticking to that. But it's also important to make sure that your schedule, A, is something that you can sustain and enjoy, and B is something that's going to work for your channel based on whatever your goals are. So like if you want to grow your channel a lot, then making sure that what you're putting out consistently is going to be received by people is important. And then also making sure that you can keep doing that, you know? So if like you personally would be dead inside if you had to play the same story game every day, then don't do that. But at the same time, if you see like your audience is very receptive to you sticking to one game, then maybe that's something you look back on if you can manage to, you're not going to get burnt out doing that essentially. That's kind of what I would say.
Okay. And then how do you guys feel about themed days? So like
themed days are fine.
Yeah, like I said, there's a lot of retro games that I want to play. And some of them I guess I wouldn't maybe call retro. It's just like I've kind of been given a stack of old games. Like I have some old Zelda games for the Wii that I've never played. So I was kind of thinking, is it better to do like maybe the mornings we play these old games and then the afternoons are when we play new games? Or am I better to say like Thursdays are like Throwback Thursday? It's just like an easy example of I'm playing old games that I missed out on as a kid because the only game I played when I was a kid was Pokemon and Tony Hawk.
I think so. This is just for me. Because I did this, like I said, I did the similar kind of thing back in January when I was doing stuff. The biggest thing, regardless of what you're playing, is going to be when you're going live. If you are going live within the same like 10 to 15 minute time span, a lot of the time the same people are going to show up at that time, because it's like, you know, your favorite TV show. You're going to show up at that time when the new episode of The Office or something's popping on TV, and you're going to be there for it. So that's the biggest thing I feel like you should try to focus on first. And then I think with what you're trying to do, theme days are almost completely needed because of what you're trying to do as a variety streamer. If you're not giving people an idea of what you're playing each day, then that's going to kind of almost be detrimental to you, because then people aren't going to know what to expect as a variety streamer, because you're not consistently putting a game, you know, besides your Destiny in the morning. But if you're allowing people to know ahead of time that you're playing this at a specific time, then that opens up a lot more people to come out. And then if people are seeing and sharing that stuff on Twitter as well, or like Discord or whatever, sharing with their friends, then it opens you up to seeing a lot more new people getting exposed to your content too, because they're like, oh, this new guy's playing this story mode I want to watch, so let me go drop it and say hi to him for the first time, that kind of thing. So I think it's almost needed at that point. It's not even like just a fine. I feel like you should definitely look into doing stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say the only thing so theme days are good, especially because they're really easy to remember for people, especially if they're alliterative. Throwback Thursday, it's just easy to remember. The only thing is they're a little bit overdone, I feel like, and a lot of people use the same thing as everyone else, like Motivation Monday. Here we go again, you know, like you see that so many times. So if you can find something a bit more unique to you, that might help a little bit. So like Director Nasty in the chat was saying he does Throwback Thursday, which is whatever. I feel like that's pretty common. But then he does F-Boy Friday, which I was like, okay, what is that? You know, that's more interesting than whatever else you see people doing all the time. So if you can find something unique with your own little spin on it, maybe.
Yeah, and that's what I would definitely want to do, is try to find like a different way to phrase it that's basically the same thing, but it's just stands out a little bit more. But that was just, you know, easy example.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Anybody else have thoughts on this?
I just think, I honestly think it's up to your community. Every community is different. Every stream is different, you know? So really just, you should probably ask your community, you know, see like, hey, what do you guys want to see? Is this better? Is this better? You know, like that's probably the best approach, you know? But you're a variety streamer anyways, you know? So at the end of the day, you know, switching games up, you know, for you, probably is going to be pretty natural for your community. You know, they'll probably buy into almost anything, in my opinion.
And I mean, I'll play a story game no matter how long it is. Like, I mean, I played Fallout for months until we finished Fallout, because it was such a big game. So now I just like powered through the story of the Outer Worlds. And now I've been thinking about going back to play through all the side stuff that we missed, because there's so much stuff in that game. I missed like 4 planets. I didn't even go to them. It's like just marathon through. So that's kind of one of the other morning things, has kind of been like, just do those. And it's like, it's sort of a story, but it's sort of not.
Right.
If that makes sense. Just like doing quests, basically.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, thank you for joining us for the news and for bringing those questions on to kick things off.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me on. Green, dude, thanks for everything that you've done for True and for me, man. It's been a blast getting to know you and getting to work with you on so much stuff through the partner program and just through the community in general. We're definitely going to miss you, dude, but glad to see you move on to something new. Good luck.
Thank you, man. Yeah, and I'll definitely be sticking around. And thank you for all that you've done. The True too.
Yep. I'll catch you guys later.
All right, we'll see you
See ya.
soon.
Is this? Do we cry now or do we cry later?
Later. I'll save it for now. We have Savage Voice coming back on for I think the third week in a row. So let's see what he wants to chat about today. We have a lot of callers, guys. So thank you. So I'll just go ahead and say, if you want to call into the show, this is the week to do it because we have to go through the calls first before we get to questions. We have 3 callers in line. So if you want to get your question answered, calling is going to be the way to do it this week. But I'll go ahead and add in Savage right now. Perfect. There we go. We're ringing. See if he'll pick up here. Savage.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hey man, pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
What do you want to chat about today?
Well, I've been listening in, and I think I'm coming at things from obviously a different perspective, older perspective, and one with the whole that law for the YouTube. I think it's faulty in general. It's supposed to protect kids, yes. However, I'm old enough, and you guys, some are in that age range where our childhood was built on advertising to kids. G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe because they were trying to sell toys. Transformers, He-Man, that's where all these things came from. Video games in general, Mario, Nintendo. Parents, here's the thing. My kid can watch, he watches YouTube. He sees all the things. I want Lego this, I want Lego that.
Mm-hmm.
And you have, Santa Claus, or you just say, no. You're the parent. There's no reason why. I don't need anybody to protect my kids from me or protect me from buying my kids stuff. It's stupid. I'm sorry. If it wants to be the bad stuff they're not supposed to see, thanks for that help. Yes. Past that, I just think it just makes no sense. And then on top of that, so the content creators don't get monetized, don't get any money. Is YouTube still gonna get some money? Are they still getting ad money going on there?
Well, I mean, I can answer that. They're not showing the targeted ads, so YouTube's taking a big cut too, for sure.
Yeah, but I'm saying they're still gonna get something. I
mean, so is the creator.
Yeah. Well, my own point is just the whole. I don't think people need as much protecting as they're trying to make it out. I think they're mistargeting things by saying we need to protect, everybody, when they get higher up with these big corporations, we need to protect the people, our consumers, because they don't know what they want or they don't know how to handle things, when I think we probably should get more credit than that as, human beings with some type of free thinking thought.
Gotcha.
Cool. And then, but then my question per se was with us specifically in Twitch. What do you think? I mean, obviously, don't necessarily look at your followers and everything, but on a business standpoint, this is our business. We're trying to build a brand. These numbers, they should or possibly do hopefully mean something. What do you think, as far as the analytics that they provide, would you say would be the most important to not focus on, in a way of don't focus on it so that you're like, oh my God, I need to get this up, but like, okay, here's something that I can improve, or what am I doing here? Which analytics specifically do you think are best for at least new streamers to kind of keep an eye on and to help them grow?
Okay, that's a good question. Like, what's the most important thing to look at when you're starting out?
Yes.
Cool. So, Vel, you want to kick this off?
Yeah, I guess there's a few things that you can look at. Like, obviously, your view count it definitely matters to an extent. It doesn't mean your content is good or bad. It means that you either did this well, or this many people didn't show up today. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you have a really good stream, there's most likely going to be more people than normal. And if you're consistently, like, if you're starting to like lose viewers, then that something might be up. It might not be 100% you, like I've said before. It might just be the time of year or something, but it is something that kind of it's what most directly is reflected by you as a streamer in your content is your concurrent average viewers. Another thing to look at as far as like business related things is subscribers. I wouldn't pay as much attention to that as I would, your view count or anything, because that can fluctuate just based on the month. If there was, 3 paychecks that month for certain people or not. Things like that. And then there's gifted subs now. So like not all subs are even like actual subs. They're just, people just trying to, spread the love in your community and everything, which is great. But I think one of the big ones that when you're first starting out is how many viewers did you get today compared to how many followers did you get today? Just because if someone does enjoy your content, they're probably going to follow. You know what I mean? And when you're new, obviously you don't have that many followers anyway. So most of the people that you're getting in there are going to be people who aren't following you yet. So if you're getting follows for most of the views that are coming in, you're probably doing something right.
Yeah, it's a really good metric there, I think. 'Cause I think a lot of things, metrics like that are not so apparent are good to look at. So, how many people are coming to your stream versus how many are following. That's a great metric to look at because you're basically measuring how well you're selling yourself once they come by, right? You have someone who's engaged. Did you do a good job of making them want to stick around more and come back for more content? So I like that a lot. Shav, you have thoughts?
Yeah, so I don't like to focus on average concurrent viewers and revenue as a thing. I like to look at things like how many unique viewers did you draw on based off of like how your stuff looks, how long are people watching your stuff per stream? Like, are you retaining people that stay in? Because you can't control what people are going to stay or what people can spend money, because sometimes it's not viable. I know there's like down times where like I'll be more down on subscribers and then I'll bump like 30 in one day because somebody either has money and they want to gift and support, or a whole bunch of people like to decide to sub that day. Like, it just happens, and life happens. You can't really control that. But a lot of the time, if you look at how many hours are you getting watched per stream or per week or per month, is that going up? Is that a positive trend for you? That kind of thing. And even when I've been talking to like trying to get like sponsors and stuff like that, I've been throwing a lot more. I'll be like, yeah, this is my average concurrent viewership, but I also have these people usually watch like almost the entire stream. Like, it's a lot more engagement. And then I'll also show like chat analytics. I'm like, yeah, I have these people come in and the average like person chats for like 50 to 100 messages, that kind of thing. It shows like you have a lot more interactive of a community, and they are going to get more involved with stuff you do outside of streaming versus like just following you because you're live on Twitch. I've noticed for me, as my average hours watched has gone up, a lot more people have been active in Discord. A lot more people have been active on my Twitter. Like, my Twitter's been getting pretty like positive with likes and retweets lately. I've been like, what was it, the last like 6 months I was averaging maybe like 5 likes on a tweet, if that. Now I'm hitting like 10 to 25 on almost every tweet I'm doing that I'm putting out. It's really just trying to like focus on improving engagement overall, and the rest of that'll come, because the more you engage with people, the more people are going to share you, the more people are going to want to support you and interact with you, and then it's going to make content easier, because if you have chat flowing and you have things like that, it's going to make it a lot easier for you to do talking points and stuff too, instead of you trying to come up with things off the top of your head.
Gotcha.
So I think those are like really big things to consider outside of like even just followers or viewers. It's like, oh, I've got 5 viewers, but all 5 of those people were watching for 4 hours.
Yeah.
I think that weighs a lot more heavy than having a consistent 10 viewership, but you have like 100 different people that come in and out, and everybody's watching for 5 minutes. I think it shows a lot stronger with that.
You're basically, it's kind of the same thing. You're looking at your viewer retention rate and how much quality you're providing over just quantity of people there, right? Keeping them around.
Yeah.
Cool. Don,
Exactly.
thoughts here?
Yeah, I think you should totally focus on ad time per hour. It's probably the most important. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. But they pretty much touched on everything I was gonna say. Honestly, I honestly think I'm more like Vel too. Like, in my personal opinion, concurrent view count is to me the most important metric. But don't let it ruin you, okay? Because it will go up and down. But don't let it ruin you. Don't let it put you in a bad mood. It's gonna happen, but you're gonna have to find a way to deal with it. It happens to me, and just gotta find a way to deal with it. But I think concurrent views is very important. I also think I'm a numbers guy, so I also think that metric of unique views to followers you get the day is very important, because that shows like how many new people can you retain, and follow you. So you have, whenever someone comes to your stream or whenever you get a raid, you have like a minute to like do I like this person or do I not like the streamer? You have that like a minute to like make an impression, you know. So I think that's important. And then Shav, I also agree with kind of like the average chat messages. I talk a lot during my stream, and my whole stream is almost based off my chat, you know. So if they're talking to you, generally that means, you know, they kind of like you, interacting with you. So those are probably the ones I would focus on the most. But don't if those numbers go up and down, don't let it get to you. But you do want to monitor it.
Yeah, I would say average viewers is like the measuring stick of streaming in terms of just on paper. That's the thing that you measure your kind of growth by. But I don't think it should be what you kind of measure your own achievement by. Like you shouldn't set goals around viewership really, since that's outside of your control. So I like what you guys all said in terms of measuring views versus follows. Average view duration is a huge one too. Again, like, are you providing quality content so that when people do find you, they want to stick around? And I think another cool metric in that area is actually Discord. And this is something that kind of depends on you, like whether you focus on Discord or not. One thing I like to look at is how many people come into the stream and then want to join the Discord versus people who don't. Because that, again, it's like, did you sell yourself well enough in that moment? And that could be for following, for Discord, for sticking around. And that's really what you should kind of judge yourself each day on, is did I do a good job of that? Since that's something you control, as opposed to the viewership, which could come from anywhere and a lucky raid or something, you know?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Savage, you have thoughts on that or other questions?
No, actually, those answers were actually excellent, because even in all honesty, I had previously had a question, and you know, you had the first caller, and so by the time it came to myself, I was like, okay, I don't have anything to ask anymore. I need to think of something quick. think. What did I want to ask the other day? And then, you know, I was like, okay. But you actually brought new thoughts, because one of the thoughts that I initially had was, what else other than the basic information that they give us can we look at to see, okay, where to go from here? And you guys gave excellent answers.
Yeah, and those metrics aren't always so easy to find. You might have to do some math yourself. Because they're not, you know, your viewership and your follower count are slapped on everyone's stream. But those metrics we talked about, I think, are better self-judgment metrics for that kind of thing.
And if I can cut in, a really good tool, it's very underrated. I don't know why people don't use it more. Look at your Solinome, see how you're doing for trends 3 days, 7 days, 14 days, the last couple months. See what you're doing. It'll break down individual streams. It'll break down stretches of time. It breaks down everything down to watch time per person, all those different kinds of things. It gives you so much more than Twitch dashboard is going to give you. So don't just look at Twitch dashboard, because it's not going to give you all the stuff you need to look at for all that.
Yeah, so for people who don't know, I just linked it in the chat, but for the audio listeners, Solinome.com, SULLYGNOME. That's a super Twitch statistics site that gives you a lot of data, and I love data, so it's really good for self-critique. Savage, thank you for calling in, man.
No problem, and you know, thanks for everything, Green. You've been awesome. Started listening, and just the fact that you give me an opportunity to call in and be a part of this. I've loved podcasts before I even got into streaming, so that in general on that side of things, as a listener, is super valuable. So thank you for everything. Good luck in everything you're doing, and I look forward to seeing what it is that you know, build up next.
Thank you, man. Thank you for calling in repeatedly. We appreciate that, for helping drive the show. Thanks.
My pleasure. Take it easy, guys.
Cool. We'll see you later.
Yeah, you too, man.
All right. So let's see. I think we have 3 more callers still. I think
Sweet.
Sadomi's up next, I want to say.
I'm going to miss Green and his data.
Okay.
Miss me and my data. Yeah. So Sadomi had a question for offline. I think he might use this week. We'll see. We'll go ahead and add him to the show right now. I think we had another caller, but they disappeared. So there are 2 coming after this, though. You're the other caller?
No, I said bye. Other.
Oh, goodbye.
Bell's the other caller.
Sadomi is with us. Sadomi, how's it going, man?
Good. One sec. Hold on. I have the stream up too. This is hectic. Oh god.
A lot of people running into that. Done it. Super delay echo. Yeah. All good, man. What do you want to chat about today?
There we go. All right. So this was actually my question I posted in the Discord, because I feel like there's something I want to ask personally, because I love this question. I forgot what it was though, so let me read it real quick.
You love that we forgot it?
We have it pulled up here actually, but I'm glad you're calling in because it was a little vague. so you can clarify it for us now, which is nice.
I gotta go
Perfect.
pee real quick. I'm gonna be listening though. I'm bringing it with me.
Okay.
Oh God, mute your mic so you don't do the whole thing where you anyway.
Don't mute it.
Oh gosh.
Anyway, so since everyone here is pretty deep into this streaming game, like to call it, I mean everybody on here too, especially you Green, since you're moving around now. How long ahead do each of you plan for your, we'll say your stream business? We'll say like how far ahead? Is it 6 months, a year, 3 months, a week?
Mm-hmm.
When you
Okay.
say business, what do you mean?
So we'll say let's say a mixture of monetization, content, moves, and pretty much everything that involves your stream. How far ahead do you plan it?
Okay. So like content creation in general, not just streaming.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Fair enough. Kick this off to Don first. What do you think?
Okay, so I don't plan ahead very much at all. When you talk about monetization, I mean, I think it's impossible to kind of plan, for that. The only thing I plan ahead for is if, I knew COD was coming out, right? And that I was gonna play COD for a while, right? So what I did is I kind of just told my community, I was like, hey, we're doing R6 for a while, but then when COD comes out, just expect a lot of COD, expect a lot of that. But I'm an FPS channel anyways. But when it comes to planning ahead for my stream, I feel like, for me at least, I feel like my streams are too unpredictable. I kind of like wake up that day, I'm like, what do I feel like streaming today? And sometimes it's COD, sometimes it's R6, sometimes it's just chatting, and this is a really bad answer because the answer is basically I don't plan ahead. I kind of just don't plan ahead. I'm so sorry. Next person, just move on to the next person.
All right. Shav, how far in advance do you plan your content?
So kind of just depends because, like I said, I'm kind of all over the place, and I'm in a unique niche kind of with Clone Hero and stuff that I can do stuff. So especially with like the music, I'll break it down in like a couple different things. The music side, like the music production side of my content creation, has multiple levels. I'm working on an EP right now. I'm working on the last song, getting that finished to put out. Sometimes I'll use that as my stream content to like, just double up, put everything together. But a lot of the time I'll keep that offline and kind of tease stuff to people, keep them interested, that kind of thing. So that can go like months, weeks, whatever. Kind of just depends on what's going on. And then on top of that, obviously with Clone Hero, I'm friends with a lot of charters that put charts into the game so they can custom make charts for the songs free to play. So I'll talk to my friends that are charters and be like, hey, here's a new song I made. You want to throw this in the game? They'll do that, put my stuff on it. That diversifies, put more of my stuff out there, that kind of thing. So that takes a bit of planning, obviously, and coordinating with those people. As for just like streaming, I generally try to plan out at least a day or two ahead of what I want to play. Unless I'm like planning a co-stream with somebody. Say if I'm doing co-op on Clone Hero, or I'm like, hey, you guys want to squad up on Rocket League or Overwatch on stream, I'll try to plan that like half a week to a week out with somebody at minimum, so we can coordinate stuff, especially when they're another streamer. Because obviously it takes a lot more coordination when they've got their stream schedule, you've got yours, different games you do, stuff like that. And then on top of that, I try to segment when I put out certain clips from streams on Twitch, or not, or Twitch streams on Twitter or Instagram. I try not to do more than one clip on Instagram a day if I can plan it out. If I have a backlog of 4 or 5, that's content for 4 or 5 days, obviously. Twitter, it's usually better where I can, if I haven't put a clip that day, I'll put it out, or I'll be like, hey, I'm working on like this montage of clips for YouTube or something, like a weekly highlight reel. You set that up, you tell people, hey, I'm doing this weekly or every other week. You set that up, edit it through the week, and then you get it done and post it the next week around when you get done. Like I said, it's kind of like unique situation because not everybody does all that kind of different stuff, but it's just kind of like internalizing and seeing like, well, how can I make this more useful to me on all platforms and not just one, is how I try to think about it. So instead of just focusing on the streaming part, because I like I said, I used to stream like 8 to 12 hours a day every day. Now I do like maybe 4 to 5 hours unless I'm like really feeling it, and I'll spend the rest of the day like 6 to 8 hours maybe on and off Twitter and Discord calls with people, talking to random people. a big thing networking for me really is I'll go find new people I've never met in the Clone Hero directory or music production that are like maybe lower on view count that I can talk to that are like 0 to 10 viewers. Go talk to them. You know, their chat might be slow, that kind of thing. Like it sounds weird and maybe like a little arrogant, but it's also like I'm trying to find people that I can go speak to and that aren't going to look down on me because their view count's higher than me or even similar to mine, and then go make those relationships. And I've made a lot of good friends and a lot of consistent viewers out of that because they're like, hey, I appreciate you giving my content a chance and talking to me while I'm streaming. And that goes a long way for a lot of people when you're networking. So all that kind of goes in together, whether you're trying to meet new people or posting stuff and all that, if that makes sense. I don't know if that was kind of all over the place, but that's a lot of the stuff I try to do.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Vel, what do you think when you're planning with your content? Are you long term, short term?
I don't really think long term too much as like, you know, like when it comes to, you know, this is where I want to be necessarily or anything like that, because like you can do everything right and still not be there. And like that messes with me mentally. So like the things that I focus on are just like, what can I do mentally to put myself in the right situation, you know, to be able to grind this out? Because I have been streaming over, you know, 3.5 years now, or right around 3.5 years. And obviously I'm not a partner streamer or anything yet, but like if my mentality was different, I would probably be pretty butthurt about that, and I'd be very toxic. And you know, because there are people that, you know, stream less than me, or that have streamed for not as long as me, but are farther than me, quote unquote farther. You know, like have more viewers and stuff like that, etc. But putting yourself in a position mentally to not really be phased by that, and like, you know, I'm on my own grind. You know, I'm doing my thing, and there's no set path for anybody. And so just putting myself in that mentality of, you know, like other people are going to pass me, and you know I'm going to pass other people, and like that's just how Twitch works. There's nothing set in stone. And then other things like, what do I need to do now, you know what I mean? Whereas like because I feel like a lot of us are set in the way of we're Twitch streamers or we're streamers, instead of being content creators, you know, because when it comes to being a content creator, that's anything, you know what I mean? That's whether it's Twitch, YouTube, I mean even stuff on Twitter is content, whether there's a post or something. Like as a content creator, like that's what will get you discovered, not just being a Twitch streamer. So how can I be a content creator? How can I make the best content for Twitter, whether it's, you know, a funny post or informational post, things like that? Or how can I go make content that's, you know, valuable on YouTube or Instagram or anything? It's just about like my mentality and just what I need to focus on for the future. Like that's kind of where I'm at. I don't really focus too much on, you know, I want to be partnered by this year or you know, any of that stuff, because that, like I said, you can do anything, you can do everything right and it still might not work out. And so I just focus on preparing myself mentally for anything, basically. Like that's really the only thing that I know that I can control, that you know, that has helped me get to where I'm at and allowed me to stream for as long as I have, you know.
Yeah, I think especially with streaming, you're right. Like there is no right way to do it, right? And you can't. There's not a formula to follow to get to partnership or whatever. So that definitely makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And I like what you said about the quality and the hitting content across the board, right? Not just streaming, but YouTube and Instagram and everything else. I think that's important to look at, especially long term, so that you're not pigeonholing yourself into Twitch or YouTube or whatever. Don, were you gonna say something?
Oh yeah. So what Vel said was the exact same reason why I kind of don't plan ahead and try. You know, I recently went through this thing, and then so like you know, when you start planning ahead, right, you start taking Twitch as like a business, you know, which it really is, you know. And if you approach like that's good for you. But I have started taking more of a lax approach to it. Just focus on like, instead of trying to plan ahead so much, you know, I want to be this by this or hit this number by this. I'm more of like, hey, let's have fun today. You know, whatever that means, you know, to you. Like I'm just trying to have fun these days. You know, have fun. Like, you know, your content is going to speak for itself. And, you know, if you worry about the numbers and you worry about the future too much, it might affect how you produce your own content, you know? So I think of more of like, live in the moment, you know, like have fun with your stream. And then, you know, if your content's good, it should speak for itself. It'll grow. Now, the whole social media thing, it's not part of the question, but that's something that I don't do and I lack, you know? And so if you really want to focus on planning ahead, I think, you know, work on, because YouTube is a platform where you can actually plan ahead. You can release these videos certain days, build up a pipeline of content and just slowly release them, you know. Where Twitch is a little like, it's interactive, it's live, you know. It's a little less planning. Yes, there is planning if you're a huge streamer, but definitely if you want to plan ahead, I think the other social media platforms, like what Vel said, that's that's where I would plan ahead. That's where I put my focus if I were to plan ahead more.
Mm-hmm.
If I can chime in again, so I think the most important thing, because this is what's helped me a lot recently, I got more relaxed on everything. You don't want to be too hard on yourself, setting hard deadlines for everything. You don't want to like make it so that you're like, oh, I need to get a tweet out. I need to do Instagram and stuff. You know, like if you have a thought, go ahead, put it out. If you think it'll be valuable or you think it'll be funny, anything like that. Some of my funniest streams, like my drunk stream that I have on YouTube, was like a spontaneous thing. Me and the guy did it within voice chat like 3 hours beforehand. We were like, all right, yeah, let's go get some beer and stuff and we'll chill out in VC and I'll play Clone Hero. And that turned into like one of my funniest streams I've ever had. So like sometimes like just being fluid and not being too rigid with everything helps a long way too. Otherwise you're going to get yourself too stressed out, because that's what I was doing for a while. I was getting too stressed out, like, oh, I need to coordinate, I need to do like these types of tweets, I need to do these types of Instagram posts and stuff, versus like I just started being way more relaxed at everything, and it's made it a way easier time to get everything going overall.
100%.
Yeah, I would say my answer for this is probably different than a lot, because I have like a strong sense of stuff I want to do over the next couple of years, particularly with music and video. So that's stuff that I've started to pivot towards, because I know, you know, I love streaming things like League of Legends or Smash. Those are really fun to do. But I know 5 years down the road, if I were still doing that, I would enjoy the process, but it wouldn't be, I would kind of have some regrets of not working on music or video. So that's kind of why I'm making a pivot this way. And like it might lead to less content in the short term, but long term, I think I'll be more fulfilled doing that. And streaming still plays into that. I just don't think I'll see streaming as my main thing I do. It'll be more of like an add-on to that. And that goes back to kind of what Vel was saying, is embracing more of a comprehensive content idea. So like YouTube would be a big focus for me, and music. And figuring out how streaming fits into that has been a process. So that's sort of like what I'm thinking, probably 5-10 years down the road. And like, it can be a little daunting, and it does lead to maybe some short-term issues, like you guys said. Like probably less streams, and you're not going to do the same thing you've always done. But I think I'll be happier for doing that in the long term. So that's like a quick snapshot of that on my end. But Sodomi, do you have follow-up questions or thoughts on that?
So I've been doing a lot of research, and the way my brain's been working lately, I've been thinking more about the future and kind of thinking about how to get to that future versus what's doing the here and now. So for example, I have a 5-year plan in the works. Now, mind you, that plan's not rigid. It's pretty much like 3 things. It's have this, do this, and make sure this is taken care of by then. And that's pretty much it. But then I have other plans going down like 3 years, 1 year, 9 months, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, 1 week. So get to that 5-year plan goal. And one thing that I've noticed a lot of content creators do is, or at least especially myself too, when I was really super hyper focused into it, was my plan, like I couldn't see farther than maybe a week. Sure, a game release that I looked at, but that was probably the farthest amount of, I'm doing air quotes here, planning that I did. So and I'm not bashing anybody else for like doing this way. I like doing it the way I think is going to be best for me, because everyone does things differently. A lot of successful streamers probably don't plan super hard.
Yeah.
A lot of streamers probably plan a lot as well. But like I said, everyone's different, and I think for me personally, doing a concise, broken down plan and like roadmaps to get to that plan will also help you stay focused. Because one thing about streaming and just being a content creator in general, especially in this day and age, is it's very hard to be first anymore. So you have to be good. And if you're expecting anything in less than, I'll say, 3 years at this point, it's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough. So yeah,
it's like Vel said earlier, like Twitch is not solved, right? Even if you lay out the perfect plan, I mean, A, like you said, it's going to take a lot of time, and B, it's sort of a gamble. I mean, you can do things that you think will work, or that you've tried before and double down on that, but at the end of the day, you never really know if it's going to pan out or not, if your goals are set on like viewership or partnership or things outside your control.
Oh yeah, never make goals that are outside your control. Like partnership, viewers, those should be numbers you try to hit, but not necessarily goals. Like a goal would be put out X amount of content, put out X amount of posts, do X amount of streams in a month, a year, however long period of time.
Right, but you still have a vision of where you want to go with that, probably, right? Like achievements you want to hit as a result.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I think I view it more of as results. And then if those results aren't where I'm hitting at, then okay, I know I gotta change something up. This isn't working. So we're gonna go back to the drawing board, draw something else up, and see if that works.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
So actually, I was just thinking about it because I just looked at the date. So tomorrow's actually my 1 year anniversary, my first stream on Twitch.
Nice.
And the thing that helped me a lot, so like setting goals, like doing a certain amount of videos in a certain span of time, that's great, stuff like that. But vocalizing like goals with your community helps a lot too, because people like to get behind like a movement. So like say you're like, hey, I want to be at 1,000 followers at the end of the year, or different things like that. You know, just vocalize, tweet out. You'd be like, hey, this would be really neat to hit, that kind of thing. A lot of people like to get behind stuff like that too, even if it's not like a hard deadline for you. Just telling people, hey, this would be great to hit, and putting that out there, I've noticed helps bring in a lot of positive energy for that kind of thing. Like it's nice to internalize your own goals and stuff, but when you share it with other people, especially like your community and your consistent base that supports you, those people are generally very like way more supportive with stuff like that, and they a lot of the time will go out of their way to help you as long as you are putting out good content, you're consistent with your own stuff as well. Like those people that go and support you a lot want to see you succeed, otherwise they wouldn't be there in the first place. And so setting those kinds of goals and telling people about that, even just like putting a Twitter post and pinning it to your thing for like 2 months and say like, hey, you know, we're at like 20K channel views. It'd be cool if we hit like 30K, get that many unique people coming in the channel within the next like couple months. Just putting stuff out there like that just adds more fuel for people to try to like get behind you, you know? So sometimes it's good to just put stuff out there too, even if it's not like you trying to say you want to hit those things. It's more of just like a, hey, you know, this is something I want to strive towards, and a lot of the time that helps in achieving those kinds of things, and helps give you like something to look back on too, because like sometimes you forget it, but that you make those goals too, and then you look back on like a tweet you did a year ago and you're like, man, I've come a long way since I made that. And so that's like a good like mentality thing too, apart from even just a support aspect.
Gotcha. Anybody else have thoughts on this one? Cool. So
Yeah,
Delman,
yeah.
thank you for calling in, man. I appreciate it.
No problem. I'm gonna miss my green card. I'm gonna miss my green card. I'm gonna miss my green card. Okay, bye.
The phone quality there is great, by the way, for that singing. All right, we have 4 callers lined up, guys. There's tons of callers today. My friend Britt is up next, who changed his name to just straight Britt. I noticed that. Let's see what he wants to talk about today. We're ringing in right now. Britt, hello.
Hello.
What's up,
Yep.
man? How are you?
I'm alright, how are you?
Good. Thanks for calling in. What do you want to talk about?
So, it's kind of like related to the last question. I'm starting like wanting kind of spread out my content wise. I don't want to just stick to Twitch. But like also I want to do stuff with YouTube, Instagram, like all the different like things you can do outside of Twitch. But I don't know where to start. I don't know what would be kind of my style of like content that certain platform like YouTube.
Okay. So you want to break into more content, but you don't know how to do it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Anybody want to kick this one off?
Yeah, I'd say you just have to start experimenting with things that you think are fun. I mean, I compare streaming a lot to or content creation in general a lot to like being a stand-up comedian. You know what I mean? Like stand-up comedians work for years before they start figuring out like who they are as a comedian and like what jokes work well for them, how their delivery is for those things. And it's because they have that live audience to tell them whether it's funny or not. You know what I mean? And so you have, you know, so much time ahead of you with experimenting, and like you'll find out what works and what doesn't. Just go out there and try things. Like you're gonna get booed off stage a lot, but that's how you learn. You know what I mean? Like everything just takes time, and so you have to experiment to learn anything. And so if you just keep doing the same thing that you've been doing or if you try to stay, safe about it, it's not going to get you anywhere because you're not going to learn anything about yourself. You know what I mean? So you have to go out there, you have to experiment, you have to put things on the line in order for anybody to tell you what you're doing wrong or what you're doing right.
Yeah. Shav, do you have thoughts?
Yeah. So what helped me, because I've started doing a lot more jokes and stuff on Twitter too. When I first started getting more active on Twitter and Instagram specifically, I bridged it with my Twitch stuff to get more comfortable using those. So you start it with like, maybe Twitch highlights, things of that nature, and then kind of devolve into you mix it. So you put like a couple Twitch things here and there, and then you post stuff from your personal life. Say if you're like working out, you put stuff with you working out. You do stuff like, hey, like this is where I went and visited today. I went to like go on a hike, went to a mountain, take a scenic picture. Do you like stuff like that? Maybe like I don't necessarily think I'm funny. I have like funny thoughts sometimes and I'll put them down. But like you don't even have to be funny to do quality content on stuff like that. You just got to find like what you think suits your style, and then bridging that with your Twitch content will make it so much easier and make you way more comfortable to interact with people on those different things outside of Twitch. And that's what's personally gotten me a lot more help. And then that is a full circle because it comes back to your Twitch. You grow your other stuff, then your Twitch is going to grow, and then it keeps feeding itself in that endless cycle. So that's like the best thing you can do is make sure you try to connect everything, and then you can kind of like variate it and add extra new content on those platforms, I think.
Awesome. Don?
Yeah, so I don't have other content, okay? It's not because I don't want to start it, it's because I'm lazy, okay? But so a lot of people try and, a lot of people always are like, what do I start? How do I do this? When should I start? They try to time things, and it's really hard to time like all these things. I always say, like don't talk about it, be about it. Just do it, do it. Your own style will evolve. What you don't know what you're comfortable with until you actually start doing it. You may think you're comfortable doing this, but you're actually not until you do it. Or when you experiment, when you poke and prod and do different things, you figure out your own way. You figure out what's comfortable for you. But don't focus on like what should I do first. When should I do it? Just I say, if you want to YouTube, make a video of what you like, what you think your style is, put it out there. And then, depending on the feedback you get, or if you rewatch a couple times, you don't like it, it's going to evolve. Like your first style is not always going to be your style when it ends. It's constantly evolving. You're always changing. And in today's society, you kind of have to adapt or die anyways. You kind of have to evolve with the time. So put a video out there, put an Instagram video out there, or YouTube or whatever content, put it out there. Let it evolve. You're going to evolve. You won't realize it, but you will,
Yeah, I would say, Britt, I'm actually kind of in the same boat right now. I'm getting ready to do some more content on stuff like that. And what I personally do is just look at other types of content and see what I like. So for YouTube in particular, like who are some people I like to watch? What kind of videos do they make? What specifically do I like about these videos? And what do I dislike? And then kind of taking a blend of those and finding your own identity is what's really exciting for me. And it goes for anything too, like music. Even if I want to start making that, what artists do I like? What do I like about this song? What don't I like? What pieces can I take and make my own? That's what really works for me, and I think that's kind of applicable to any platform at the end of the day. Chad, did you have something to say?
Yeah, sorry, I keep coming up with thoughts after I do like my main pieces. The biggest thing to remember too is, especially when you're starting new stuff, it's gonna fall flat sometimes, because especially like you may think you have the most ballin' tweet ever, it's gonna go viral, and you get 0 to 2 likes. It's gonna happen. You just can't let that affect you, and you just got to keep making some of the same stuff, and eventually you're gonna get to the point where you're like, okay, I've crafted it in this way, it's gonna work out. But you just can't focus on like that stuff that's gonna fail, because it's eventually gonna happen sometimes. It's just the nature of the business and content creation as a whole. You just can't internalize that, and you have to just keep pushing through and making more stuff. That's the biggest thing overall.
You can really never be fully prepared to start. You can't do enough research to make sure your first video is going to be a huge success or whatever. It's always going to be a learning process, no matter how much you prepare. So you do have to start at some point, for sure. Britt, do you have follow-up questions or thoughts on that?
Kind of like, so I'll say I want kind of keep my like my sort of content like outside Twitch kind of the same on Twitch, and I'm just trying to find a way to do that because, of course, at the minute on my Twitch I'm in a difficult place because, like, with the content I do, I'm kind of in between stuff, and like probably by next year, like I want to be in a place where like I want be my content at everything. Like I want to dip my toes in different like sort of stuff. So I don't know, like obviously my Twitch stuff is going to change, but it's going to be difficult to kind of find a place with like maybe YouTube or other stuff to kind of match with that.
Well, Vel, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. So the thing is, like, when you do the same thing on YouTube that you're doing on Twitch, whether it's recorded content or live or whatever, like you have to look at what's already happening on YouTube. You know what I mean? So if like there's already people uploading, Rainbow Six Siege clips or videos or something like that, like it's hard to break into that. You know what I mean? That's something that I had to deal with as well. Because I think I have, some pretty awesome videos, but like it's flooded with other videos that are in the mix. You know what I mean? So when it comes to making content on other things, it can't just be, well, other people are doing this, so I'm going to do it too. It has to be, what are people looking for and what are they not getting?
Mm-hmm.
So like it has to be different. It has to be something that stands out, because Twitch is already so flooded and it's hard to be different on that. So why would you make more content that's already going to be flooded by the same content? You know what I mean? Like I understand that, like it's hard to be different on Twitch. So like you're gonna do your thing, and it's, you want to strive to be different every day. You want to strive to be better. But when you go into YouTube, why would you do the same thing that other people are doing, that millions of people are doing, when you could see what people want and you can see like what's not currently being provided?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways you can use that. And a lot of people use YouTube in a way that's not the same as their Twitch, right? I think one of the best ways to use YouTube is to make content people are searching for, and then use that as a way to drive people to your stream. And it can be in a totally different genre if you wanted it to be. So, but Chad, did you have something to say there too?
My main thing is like you got to figure out how to game the different platforms. Like Instagram using hashtags a lot is a big thing. Maybe you use like periods and space it downwards to hide the hashtags more, but Instagram is heavily hashtagged. People follow hashtags, like random posts that go through them. So you need to know how to game that. Twitter is very engagement based. You need to reply to people that reply to your tweets. The more people you reply to on their tweets, the more people are more likely to check out your stuff, that kind of thing. So it's really just learning the platforms and how what you're doing on them is what's going to expose your stuff more and get more eyes on your stuff. That's like the biggest thing to keep in mind.
Yep. There's a learning game involved in any of that stuff, but I think you should not be scared of that. I think it's a worthwhile investment for anybody who wants to break into other content platforms. Cool. Britt, any other thoughts there?
No.
Awesome, man. Thank you for calling in once again. You must have the longest streak you've ever had on the show. I don't know what it is, 8 weeks or something at this point. We appreciate it though, man.
No problem.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Yeah.
See ya.
See you, Britt.
Oops. All right. Let's see. We have 2 more callers. Looks like maybe one dropped out. I think Martian.
Yeah, it was Marmar.
What's up?
It was Marmar. He put his in the chat.
Okay. Cool. Hopefully we can get to it. Anybody know Martian? Does that sound like a familiar name? Maybe. Oh, I don't think he added my friend request. Nope. Martian, if you can accept my friend request, I know you've been waiting very patiently, like most of the show. So as soon as you do that, we'll bring you on the show. I know we do have Manu A12 also ready to come on the show, so I'll pull him for now. But Martian, you'll be next if you can just accept that request. All right, so we're gonna pull on Manu A12 right now. See what he wants to talk about. Manu, hello. 12 also ready for the show, so I'll pull him for now.
You folks hear me?
Yeah, you gotta mute the stream. What's to talk about?
That's weird. I don't hear you.
Hello?
I know you guys hear me, but I know what's going on.
Interesting. He can't hear us. Well, Mana, if you want to mess around with your desktop stuff for Discord,
I hear myself
back.
through your stream. This is embarrassing. Give me 1 second.
it's all good. All right.
Anyhow, I'll just ask my question, even if I can't hear you through Discord yet. I'll fix that while you guys are answering. I was hearing you guys talk about the ad revenue, and I noticed, because I've been running a few ads as well to test it out. I'm an affiliate, usually 20 to 40 viewers, and the day after I check how much ad revenue I earned, it says like 1 cent. But if you actually wait a couple of days, you actually see that number go up. So I did a few tests and I'm earning like $2 per ads. And I'll tell you why I run ads later. I have a good purpose for it. But now that you guys know this fact, I think it's a Twitch glitch. Would you run ads more? Because your revenue is actually higher than it is. That's the question.
So I've not heard of this specifically. My first thought is it's like a bug that's not actually accurate. Anybody want to kick this one off, perhaps?
I just checked to see what he was saying was true, like if it went up, and mine actually changed. I didn't run a single ad after that one day. So I checked. I ran an ad a day. I checked the next day, right, and it was a certain number. And I checked right now, and it's actually higher. Almost like 4 times higher than what I thought it was going to be. So I didn't know this was a thing. This is brand news to me. Am I going to run more ads? I actually don't think so. To me, still, but that is something that is brand new to me that I had no idea that happened. So
I mean, I guess the main question here is, if ad revenue was 4 times as high, let's just go with that. Would you run ads more? So, Shav.
Again, it would all just depend. I wouldn't be doing it consistently. It would maybe be like once or twice a stream if it's an 8-hour stream, if that. If it's a 4-hour stream, it may be like once. But that would be on like an extended break. Like I usually go to the bathroom pretty quick. It takes like maybe 30 seconds to a minute for me to leave and come back to stream because it's down the hall. So there's no point for me to run an ad during then. But say if I'm gone again, like for 5 to 10 minutes, I'd consider doing that while running my intermission screen. So that when the ads are done, my intermission screen still pops up. That would be about the only scenario.
Did you guys, Don, did you get an email about the surge pricing thing they added to Twitch? Does that sound familiar? No? Okay. I know there was something with surge pricing where it wasn't going to be reflected in your stats right away, but then they would update it. So this sounds like that, but I don't think it was 4 times as much. It was like an extra 50%. So Vel, if ads were 4 times as profitable, would you run ads?
I mean, I don't know. It's just like everybody wants to make money. Like if you say like I don't want to make money, like shut up. Like just your lie notes. Like shut up right now. Like no one wants to hear lies, but at the same time, like you have to think about the viewer experience. And like obviously, Facebook a long time ago decided that they want to make more money off of ads, and you see ads in every video ever, and it's super annoying. So like even if I was making like $50 an ad, I like at the most I think I would run like 2 a stream, even if it was like something like crazy long or whatever, just because no one likes seeing an ad. And like even if it's helping the streamer out, like you're there to watch the content. You're not like the streamer, getting something out of it is a bonus even for the viewer, but at the same time anything that takes any engagement out just kind of ruins the whole vibe. So to an extent the money does help, but at the end of the day, like the content is what matters,
For sure. Okay. I think personally, with the pre-roll updates, I would probably just run ads anyway, even if this weren't the case, because I really value that first impression from people. But it's still definitely a case-by-case basis. I don't know if Manu, have you had your audio fixed by chance?
Yeah, I hear you guys.
Okay, cool.
You hear me, right?
Okay.
Do you have?
So I have one more thought on this. Sure. I think it's just everyone's goal is different, right? So if you ask me the question, would I run ads now that I know it's 4 times higher? Me personally, no, because my goal is really, it's not life-changing money to me, to run these ads. It's not going to make a gigantic dent in my wallet. So my goal is not really right now. It's not to, I know not to be making money on Twitch, that's what Vel said, right? But my goal right now is to actually grow. It's to grow a community and to increase whatever metrics you focus on is to really increase it. So for me, if the ads are 4 times more, personally, I'm not gonna run it because I still want to grow. Money to me right now is secondary, you know, in terms of Twitch. So for me, I still wouldn't run ads.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha.
I'm gonna put it this way, because like I said, my community is based more around like very tight knit engagement. I think Fel's is really close to that as well. All of them are pretty the same way. My people wouldn't care if they knew it was helping me out. If I was making an extra $50 to $100 a month, if I had to run one ad a stream, I would 100% do it. But like I'm not even gonna BS there. I would 100% run an ad a stream if it was making me $50 to $100 more a month. So if they bump the rates like that, there's no question, especially if it takes out pre-rolls.
Gotcha.
Well, regarding the pre-rolls, that's what I love the most is when I run ads, people don't just get random ads while I'm playing or talking to them. The thing that annoys me the most is as soon as people join your channel for the first time, they're going to get an ad. And I don't know if this works, but as soon as let's say I run an ad and you're not supposed to have like pre-rolls for the next hour, if someone joins me, are they still going to get an ad? I'm not sure, but recently I've been noticing that every time you go on anyone's channel that's affiliated, you're going to get an ad. And I feel like that's new. That's why I was asking you guys if you had experience with it. But personally, the reason why I run them is, look, I run charity streams and I let people know that the money I earn from that is actually going towards a good cause. I don't enjoy running them at all. But at the same time, let's say I'm playing Fortnite, I'm loading up, I would run it then because I would avoid my viewers stream sniping me. So it kind of works both ways, right? So but I've been seeing a good chunk of revenue coming from there. I mean, 20-30 bucks a month is nothing bad, you know. It goes to charity, it's fun, and at the same time, if your viewers are for it, you're good. I think it really goes with how many viewers you have, though. Let's say you have like 3 viewers and you're running an ad a stream. I don't think you'll make that much at the end of the stream. But yeah, it's one thing that really bothers me though is that you don't get to choose what ads your viewers are seeing. I have a lot of younger viewers sometimes, and they're seeing like, I don't know, like adult ads, let's just say it that
Yeah.
way. So that I don't know how Twitch is going to deal with that, because I like some of my viewers are like, wow man, why would you give me that ad? I'm like, dude, I don't control that. You know, it's so that's what I'm worrying about mostly. But yeah,
My only question is your stream, do you have it toggled for mature? Because I wonder if that plays into affect the ads they do if your stream's
no,
based
I
on
actually have
mature
it
or not.
toggled as family friendly.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
that's
that's
it's even worse.
yeah, so that seems like a Twitch side they need to like work on. I feel like they should target ads more based off of if it's a stream's toggled as mature or not. That would make it easier.
I think that's an opt-in, isn't it, with Twitch, where you have to specify that you want to receive targeted ads? If I remember correctly, there's a way to do that in your profile, but it's like a person-per-person thing. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I haven't seen anything on my dashboard for that unless I haven't looked hard enough. So
I believe so. But anyway, Manu, thank you for that question, man. We appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Anyways, I just wanted to say, Green, I've been listening to the podcast for around a year now. You've done a great job along with you guys. I hope you have a good venture for wherever you're going to pursue your career. And it was a blast to have you.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate you calling in. Thank you for the support. All right. See ya. Okay. We have 3 more callers. They just keep coming back in. I love it. Try to get through all of them. Hopefully Martian got his stuff figured out, and nobody knows that name. Is that correct? We'll see. We're going to call him right now. Martian? Hello? Martian?
Yeah, this is Martian. Can you hear me okay?
Hey, yeah. What's up, man? How are you?
Hey, so I kind of have like a weird question. So I'm a little older and I'm trying to figure out how to use all this stuff for my son. And I kind of enjoyed it, like learning about it. So I'm thinking about trying to stream on Facebook, but really just to like chat with people that I like follow groups in. But I don't know how to like, I don't want to like approach those groups in a way that they like it's bad. I don't know how to like get the groups like for people to come and chat with me outside of the group. I don't know how to proceed with that.
So you're trying to stream in a group on Facebook?
I'm trying to like set up my own stream on like those gaming creator or whatever things. And I was just going to play a game in the background, more like a just chatting type thing.
Right.
But I don't know how to get the people that I want to come to my stream. Like, I don't want to like just, say, hey, I'm going to go stream if anybody wants to come over. I heard that's like received badly.
Yeah.
Okay. So has anybody here tried Facebook streaming by chance?
I have not. So I don't know if you're friends with this person or not. Like, do they see? Is there a notification when you go live if you're friends with this person? I have no idea how it works.
I haven't streamed at all yet, so that's why I just am trying to like figure out like how I would get the people I want in my chat. Like, I don't know how to reach them, I guess is my point.
Who are the people that you're wanting to watch the stream? Just your
So
friends?
you know, like hunting groups, things like that. Just people like that I feel like don't really do a lot of these kinds of groups. Like, just for like more of a just chatting. I'm not sure. Like, they probably don't even really know about the Facebook. I didn't even know it was a thing until my son told me about it.
Right. Well, I mean, I think that problem that you're having is on any platform is basically like, how do you build your audience, right? And it's a little bit different on Facebook because you have these existing groups and Facebook's been around forever. But I think the same sort of strategies still apply. So does anyone want to kick this one off in terms of ideas to kind of start building your audience on Facebook, maybe in light of what Facebook has? Yeah, Shav?
Well, I do know Facebook has specific gaming groups that are streaming related. The hard part is going to be, especially since you said you're an older demographic, especially in these hunting groups, that's probably going to be an older demographic as well. You're probably not going to be able to cross those wires that easily. And even if you did, it's not going to be ideal for what you'd want to do if you're streaming games and stuff, you know? The biggest thing I would say is to try to find stuff like different groups. Say like, if you're specifically trying to stream certain games, look for groups based around those games and then try to make relationships with people in those games. The biggest advice I have to people when they asked me about like starting out, since I've done it for a while, is you need to make connections, you need to make friends. That's your first start, because friends are more likely to help you out, especially if you guys have that relationship. And that's going to be your initial step. The more people you have that you're friends with that'll support you, the more easy it's going to be to get new people that don't know you in, and that kind of thing. And then it could just kind of snowballs from there. And so my first thing would be, especially on Facebook with how big these groups are, go out of your way to try to find groups for games and stuff that you're interested in. Go off of that. And then I believe the way Facebook is, it'll show on the timeline if you're streaming. I don't know if you're doing it off your personal profile or like, say you're making a personality profile. But if you make a personality profile page, you know, kind of just like subtly send out invites to your friends to like it, like you're that kind of thing, you know, like how you do any other kind of thing. And then people kind of roll in, they'll get notifications, and it'll kind of just start up from there. And that's all you can really do up until you start getting more people in, is make those relationships, try to send out what you can. And then you just got to kind of let it try to help itself. And you just got to focus on the content until then.
Yeah, I like that. Don, you have thoughts?
Yeah, I think like what GreenChord said is basically you're just trying to, you know, how do you grow your stream? How do you get people to see your stream? You know, and I think it has to happen organically. Again, that's my approach to things. You know, but Facebook, I honestly have no experience in Facebook, and I'm not sure like if you're friends with a specific person and you go live, do they get notified or not? That's the question I don't know as well. You know, but back to what GreenChord says though, like if you're in these groups, you know, make friends in these groups. Like make genuine friendships, you know, and then when you go live, you know, most likely your friends are gonna watch you if they like you. If they don't like you, then they probably won't watch you. But they're gonna want to watch it. They're gonna want to talk to you, you know. So I think what GreenChord says the best, honestly, is make, you know, actual friendships, genuine friendships. You know, that's kind of the approach that I would take, honestly.
Awesome. Vel, you have thoughts?
I mean, I think everybody's pretty much already nailed it. You're just trying to grow your audience, you know, and just it basically just comes down to just putting the content out there, because I mean, they're not going to be able to find it if you don't actually put the content out, you know what I mean? So just, you know, start it up, do your thing, and make friends along the way, and then they'll find out eventually, you know what I mean? Just don't shove it down their throats.
Yeah, I think Facebook we don't again have a lot of experience with, but my gut feeling would be to just interact in those groups naturally, and then just slowly build friends. I don't think that you do get alerts when someone starts streaming. It's probably like YouTube where you have to set a notification of some kind or a bell or something. But it's probably okay to occasionally post in those groups to say that, hey, I'm streaming now. Just make sure you don't go right in the groups and post right away without adding anything, right? you want to give some interaction first and not seem like you're only joining that group to spam your links and not interact. But Facebook's kind of cool that way because you have platforms to interact and meet people outside of being live. So that could be cool. The other thing, though, like you said, is a lot of people don't know that live streaming is even a thing on Facebook. So that, I think, is one of Facebook's big problems, is it's got so much going on that people don't even know everything happening on the site. So it's going to take some time for sure. And I would just slowly work at it and not expect to see, like we talked about with the past callers, like a huge engagement right away since you haven't started yet. It's going to take time, but then just building up your page and meeting more people is probably the best way to do that. Cool. Martian, do you have thoughts on that or anything?
Yeah, no, hey, I appreciate it. That works. I'll definitely give that a try. I'll hit you guys up if I have future questions. I wanted to let you know, it took me like 2 minutes to figure out how to accept a friend request on this thing. I really do think you guys do like a great thing here. It's really helped me set my son up. He's way ahead of me on this kind of stuff already. So
awesome,
thank
man.
you.
Yeah, thank you for calling in. We appreciate it. All right, we'll talk to you soon. Cool. All right. So we have two callers, sorry. About 10 minutes left in the show. We'll try to get through both. Dilla Dog TV is up next. Does that sound familiar to anybody by chance? No. All right. We'll see what he wants to talk about. It's a very aggressive icon. Dilla Dog is with us. Dilla, how's it going, man? Oh, and he's no longer with us. All right.
He gone.
Maybe he doesn't want to call.
I like the logo.
I did too. All right. Well, we'll go to Lumberjack. Not sure what was up with Dilla there. Let me pull on Lumberjack really quickly here. See what he wants to chat about this week with us. We're ringing right now. Lumberjack is on the show. Lumberjack,
Hello.
how's it going, man?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good. Thanks for calling in again. What do you want to chat about this week?
So I kind of made up a question on the fly, but honestly, it was more just to call in and say I'm gonna miss you, Green, and I hope everything goes well for you and your new career path. But I guess the question I did think of was, is there such a thing as playing a game that, or like when you play games on Twitch, obviously, like if you are just playing games that you like, is there a way to grow on like just games that you want to play versus like games that are popular? Because like the games that are popular aren't necessarily games I want to play, but like I feel like the games that I want to play obviously don't necessarily have other than really Destiny 2 don't have that much of like a big
following.
Yeah.
Sure.
So it's like
yeah. So first of all, thank you for saying that, dude. But second of all, this is a great question. It's kind of the classic streaming question, right? Do I stream the popular games or do I stream the game that I love? Can I grow streaming the game that I love? I'll kick this off to Vel first. What do you think?
I think you have to find the balance. And I know it's like a very cliche thing, but at the end of the day, like if the game you're trying to play doesn't have anybody watching it, it's not necessarily because there's no content there. It's because there's no following in the first place. You know what I mean? If there's a following for a game, there's usually going to be content for it. So you have to find that balance. You have to find that game that I would try to stick with nothing under, 1,000 to 2,000 concurrent viewers over the entire game. You know what I mean? Because anything that's less than that, it's gonna be really hard to build that community off of, because it might not have the most streamers, but it also doesn't have the most people watching. So it's just gonna be difficult for you. You really have to find that game with the perfect balance of something that you want to play and something that does have a community already behind it.
For sure. Jav, you have thoughts?
Yeah, so I kind of want to make this a little more personalized. So like, what games do you like to play?
I mean, I like playing like indie games or like games that have like one developer or like just a small team. So like Forge or Stardew Valley and stuff like that. And those ones I've noticed have been pretty good at getting people in. Like it's pretty easy. But then like I also like playing Destiny 2, and so I just like I just play like what I'm feeling. Like if what I'm in the mood for. So I guess that's also part of the question, is like if I bounce around from game to game too much, will that hurt me?
So here's the thing. I'm gonna give you similar advice to what I gave the last guy, and then I'll give you some more stuff on top of it. So the most important thing you do, especially as like a variety streamer, is going to be making those relationships and friends. That's going to be your most important thing, because that'll give you like more of a base to kind of go off of. To compound on top of that, with the games, like you say, like Stardew and all that, get you some viewers and stuff to go off of. I would recommend experimenting. So like I know like some games outside of Clone Hero, for me, Clone Hero is my main game. I can average anywhere from 15 to 30 viewers with that easily. If I go to another game, I could obviously have half of that because it's not my main game. But if I start for like an hour or two a Clone Hero and then switch over to another game later on, you bring that viewership over, you expose those people that are already watching your games that you know are polling viewers that you enjoy. And you bring that over. This is like the balance part Vel was talking about. You bring that over, and then even if people are leaving, it starts you higher in the directory for the new game, and it'll get you more eyes on you to start. So that'll go a long way, even if the people from the original game aren't watching you, and that'll help you bring in more people that are unique, that have never been in your stream, and are more likely to potentially become new consistent viewers for you, especially as a variety streamer. So that's a very good tactic to do. A lot of people just mishandle it, and they're just like, hey, I'm just going to say screw it and stream this game the other day, which is totally fine. But if your goal is to grow, I would definitely use your general base that you have as like a way to catapult yourself into new games and directories. And that's the best way to do that with that kind of thing.
Yeah, that's a timeless strategy that works pretty well when you're trying to do variety like that. Dom, what's your take?
Yeah, I think it's proven that kind of the smaller the directory, the easier it is for you to stand out, you know, especially if you've got some kind of personality or something that you can stick with, you know. I streamed in a category that was less than 1,000 views before, and I did what Shav did. I streamed that game. During the transition, I would switch over to the new game and then just do like a week or two streams like that, and then eventually just drop the old game and go full on to what is now Rainbow Six, you know. So that was a strategy that worked well for me. Now the other question of play what you want to play versus play a game for views or whatever, you know, there's the balancing that Vel said. Find a game you like to play and has decent directory. You know, I right now in my current state, I kind of play whatever I want to play. You know, I think you have to have fun, you know, and if you play a game you don't want to play, it's kind of reflect in your stream a little bit, you know. But so I play what I want to play, but what my kind of goal is to jump from directory to directory. Like each directory I jump into, try to go to a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger, a little bigger. I think that's a good way to kind of grow, you know. Now that all depends on, hey, you know, will the people watch you just for you, you know, no matter what you play. So everyone's different in terms of like where they are in their streaming career or hobby or whatever, you know. So if you have a community that will stick with you, then I think you have no problem playing Destiny, playing these indie games, you know. But you know, I think these indie games, I'm not familiar with how big those directories are, or if you can just put them under a different directory, you know. But in my opinion, you should find a game you want to play that game, you know, and then if you want to grow, maybe find a game with a bigger directory, you know, where you can kind of evolve, and you know, that's kind of the step that I did in the past.
I think also like the core thing with this question is what's most important to you with your stream. Like, are there games that you have to be streaming because you love them so much? Like that's what you enjoy about streaming, is playing those games, or is growing an audience more important to you at the end of the day? Like ideally those things coincide with each other and it's a good mix, but it might not be the case for you. So getting clear on what really matters to you and what's going to satisfy you at the end of the day is the important thing. And then you kind of make your choice on the game after that, whether you want to play that thing that you love, that doesn't matter, no one's watching, you just love playing it, or if viewership does matter a lot to you and you have big ambitions to grow a brand of some kind, then maybe the game isn't as important as creating a community around something. So I think that should influence how you decide to pick your games. But Lumberjack, do you have follow-up thoughts on that at all?
No, I'm good. Thank you guys. And cool. like I said, Green, good luck, man. You've been awesome.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll see you soon. All right, we have one more caller who I'd like to try and get in very quickly, who is Argic. Because I don't think he's called in some time. So let me try to get him on the show really quickly here. See what he wants to talk about. Argik is on the. Oh no, we're still ringing. There he is. Argik is on the show. Argik, how's it going, man?
Yo, how you doing?
Good, man. Thank you for calling in. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I gotta call in. Just say, Green, thanks for being a legend, man, and good luck with where you go next.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Do you want to talk about something? You have a question? Or?
I wish I did, but it was just to say goodbye to you, man.
I appreciate it, dude. That's still,
Best question of the day.
Yeah, we take those. We take those. So thank you for calling in, and I'll definitely be still hanging around. We'll talk about that more in a second here, since we're getting close to the end of the show. So thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No worries. Love you, dude.
Love you too. See ya.
Extended show for the last one for GreenChord.
Best question all day.
All right. Well, I think that is all the calls. Dilla Dog did call in. I think he got disconnected, but I don't know.
Said he accidentally hung up.
Yeah,
I did.
I can try and add him back on really quickly. I know we're running a little bit close to over the show time now.
Let's go.
So
yeah.
Let's see what he wants to talk about this time.
24-hour stream.
Hopefully he doesn't hang up right away. Dilla is on the show. What's up, man? How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear us? Apparently not.
Oh my god, I'm so new to this, dude. I can't freaking hear you. I'm using my phone, so I apologize.
It is all
The
good.
phone to your ear.
You can't hear this. It's okay. Hopefully it'll start working by the time that I'm done talking this sentence, and then we can keep talking. No. Okay.
Dang, nice try.
Well, Dilla, if you can always just say your question like the other caller.
All right, so I apologize, guys. I mean, so I've been streaming, and I primarily stream on Mixer, so I'm still a Twitch viewer, obviously. I watch your show, so I appreciate y'all's your show and all of the advice you give to everybody on this show. But my question was, I recently just created my own Discord after streaming about, let's say, about 10 months. I kind of held back from creating my own Discord because I'm not really active in other people's, even though I join them just to be supportive for other streamers. But my question was primarily, how do you get people to be active in it? I would say I've had my Discord, running for about 2 months right now.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just pretty difficult to get people to be interactive in the Discord. And I don't want to constantly keep, at everyone to get someone to respond to a question or to, just basically say hi. I just don't want to be that person where I just keep tagging everybody. I'd rather just, get that genuine feedback and interaction with other people in the Discord. So what's your advice on that kind of stuff?
Okay. So how do you get your Discord to be active? Don is our resident Discord lover. What do you think, Don?
Yeah, so I love Discord. I think it is the best way to interact with your community. I push Discord all the time. So when I made Discord, I was like, yo, I'm gonna make a Discord, and then people are just gonna talk on themselves. They're gonna be their own friends, Turns out that's not how it works at all. They're first and foremost, they're there for you. So Discord is only gonna be as active as you are. So you can't just make a Discord and then kind of let it, happen on its own. You have to be in there, talk in there, So I started playing games with my viewers off stream in Discord, and then after a while, after you talk in your Discord a lot, and then, you stream, your community starts to become friends with each other. So now my Discord, they just talk to each other. I don't have to talk anymore. I'm not that I don't want to, but it just, when I'm not there talking, they still talk. Okay. But I am a big proponent of Discord. I might push my Discord too much in my streams, but I think that's the best way to really get your community to grow, because you're online, I don't know how long, between maybe 2 to 8 hours a day, depending on how long you stream, But then what happens in the rest of the day, right? Like that's another opportunity for your community to actually talk to each other, talk to you, get to know. The more they get to know you, the more they will hopefully love you and watch you and support you. And the more like the community gets to know each other, the more friends they become. And so when you're online, it's like, hey, let's all hang out in the stream. So that's kind of, Discord, the more active you are, basically, the faster it's going to grow and the more interactive it's going to be.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. Shav, thoughts?
So I'll give you the perspective that I started on Mixer myself for 6 months before I moved to Twitch, and in that time I gained like maybe 10 people in the Discord. And it obviously wasn't active then, and then I took a break and started on Twitch. And the big thing that happened for Discord is you got to make a lot of diversified channels. You got to make sure you have stuff that people want to post in. Like for me, it's really niche. So like since I play Clone Hero, Guitar Hero, and people can custom chart, I have a charts channel in there where people can post their own charts and content. I have a music production channel, so any of my community, since I'm music based, can post their music in there for others to check out and maybe collab on stuff with. And I want to say I hit like 150 people in my Discord now. It's mostly just plugging it and making sure you have like a reason for people to join. You're like, hey, you know, like if you want to come chat with me on streams or you want to do community games, like we'll be in these voice channels, that kind of thing. It definitely helps with like different roles too. You don't just want to have like yourself as a role and have a whole bunch of other people besides like mods in a role. I'll have specialized ones for like stream friends I really respect that stream as well and other content creators, and I'll give them a specific role. I'll give Clone Hero charters a role. I'll give people that are just like really active in the community a role. And then sometimes you just luck into like one of those people in your community who influences conversation on your behalf too. Like kind of like Don says, they'll kind of carry themselves. But you've got to influence that yourself. You got to talk and be like, hey, how's everybody's day going? Sometimes you're not getting a response. That's just the nature of it. It's like, you know, you go on Twitter, sometimes people aren't going to talk to your stuff. Or when you're streaming, you ask a question, chat's not going to respond. But like all you can do is try it, and you got to keep trying to push for interaction and stuff. A lot of good stuff you can do. I don't know if you're comfortable with this. You can do movie nights on Discord when you're off stream. Have everybody get in a V so you guys can simultaneously watch movies and interact, or you guys can talk about like different games you're playing. Set up tournaments if you do tournament style games, stuff like that. It's just really trying to find unique ways that are different from what other people do in Discords, and even like look at what your friends' Discords and what you like about them and kind of pull from that. You're like, hey, I like it. My friend has a meme channel. Let me add a meme channel and throw stuff in there. But you've got to push it yourself. You got to start adding stuff to those channels because a lot of people, it's the bystander effect in daily life. People don't want to be the first to do something. So like if you influence that and give them a reason to not be the first, but you make them more comfortable and you do stuff first, or other people do that, it makes it a lot easier for everybody to go, and it just snowballs. So it's really just making sure you're on top of everything, giving them a reason to talk, and then it just kind of goes from there.
Awesome. Vel, you have thoughts?
I think that they've nailed it, honestly. Like everything that was just said is great. And they nailed everything that you should be doing when you have a Discord. And obviously the most important one is just being active in it yourself. And yeah, I mean, aside from that, there's not really much I can say without repeating everything, you know?
Yeah, the overarching thing I would say is you just have to give people a reason to join your Discord and be in your Discord. It's the same thing as any social media, but if you think about Discord, probably the reason that you joined a streamer server is to interact with the streamer. So if the streamer doesn't interact, why are you in the Discord? So that's how a lot start, but it can also be like more of a community thing. You just want to be thinking about like, what is the person in this Discord getting out of being here? Why are they here? What do they enjoy? Whether that is a community, like the TRUgaming type thing, or maybe they want to interact with you offline, and then you really do have to be engaged there. And just kind of figuring out what that purpose is going to be crucial to keeping your Discord active, I would say.
Yeah. I have a comment real quick.
Yeah.
Just 1 second. So there are 2 channels in my Discord that are just like wildly popular now. One is selfies and one is food. So people love to post photos of food all over the place. That's very popular. And then people love to know what each other look like for some weird reason. So that's also very popular. So add those 2 in there, post them yourself, and then see if that gets going.
There you go. Any other questions or thoughts there, Dilla?
I don't believe so. I appreciate everything y'all do. Honestly, it's been great. I probably caught the YouTube channel or the whole YouTube series about a month ago, and I've just been nonstop just trying to catch up. And finally, I think I'm starting to catch up. But I do appreciate y'all's help and advice. I mean, it means a lot. So hopefully, in the near future, I'll be calling more. I'm sure I'll be bothering a lot more of y'all in the near future. Just get ready. Hopefully, I won't hang up on you next time.
Right. So I appreciate you calling back. It's all good. Cool, man.
Right.
Thank you for supporting the show, and have a good one.
You too. Thank you.
See ya. All right. We have one more caller who I anticipate to be a very quick call, and that is Crazy Eyes.
Oh, God.
Oh, gosh.
You have to add him on the show before you sign off here just to see what he wants to contribute. Crazy Eyes is on the show. How's it going, man? With camera. Dang.
Ooh.
Long time baller, first time caller. Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate taking the time out of your busy schedule to fit me in.
Yeah.
So I just want to speak about Discord for a second. You guys are talking about Discord, but I have like 100 people and they're all there just for my sweet Rick and Morty emotes, and nobody's there for me at all.
Mhm.
I try, like, I don't want to ping everybody, so I gave people who wanted it a specific role, and it's like 4 people. So how do I get more popular without putting in the effort to do
I also would like to know this answer.
Twitter.
That is the age-old question. Yeah.
And I got like 6 people who I didn't even know had a Twitch account come in. But I don't want to be that guy that's constantly posting stuff and so, hey guys, I'm a stream guy, and like, cause I don't really pay attention to those posts either.
Gotcha.
So, but really, I guess I just wanted to say thank you, Green, for everything.
Hey,
We all really appreciate it. That's the main reason. It's going to be the last show ever. I think TRUgaming shutting down is what it feels like.
No.
Almost certain that's the case. But I just really want to say thank you, man. You gave me a chance. Your community has always been so welcoming. Velok has always been so nice and welcoming. So everybody you get here is just so wholesome and legit for real. So thank you. I'll take questions and comments after the show. Really appreciate that. But just good luck, man. We all really appreciate you and we love you. So
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. Oh, he's gone. You always
As usual.
Come on.
Can't even thank him, man. All
This
right.
is the one time we could have done it to him first, you know?
Right?
We tried. Also, Stuart, thank you for the sub. And anybody else I missed, I apologize. I think I got all of them.
Stu!
Yeah, appreciate that. All right. So that is the end of the show, guys, for this week. So, also, first thing I want to say is thank you for 100,000 downloads. That was a huge milestone we hit this week, and that's super cool to hit. Never imagined we would hit that. So, thank you for supporting the show. Secondly, this will be my last episode with StreamKey, but StreamKey is not going away. I don't have an immediate plan for you as what's happening, but in the next week or two, there should be something coming out. So stick around for that. We've worked too hard with this to just let it go away now, so it's gonna stick around for sure. But I just want to thank you guys for all the support for the show and everybody in the community. This has been really cool to do. I think this podcast in particular has been super successful, and it's been really rewarding to give back to people and be able to help people out. And I'm just really proud of everything we've been able to do with the show. So thank you guys. Let's quickly do a sign off here with the guests too. Don, you want to tell us where people can find you and what they should know?
Yeah, maybe now we can get a real host for the show, you know? But I messaged you real quick too. I barely know. I met him like a month ago, you know, and I told you you're a super nice guy, and I'm so sad we didn't get to like work together sooner, you know?
Yeah.
But I was obviously good luck in your future endeavors. You can find me at DonTranX on Twitch, Instagram, all my other good stuff. I stream FPS games and sometimes just chatting. And then love you, Green. Bye.
Thank you, man. Yeah, go check him out, guys. And it's been awesome to have you on the show as much as we have, Don, in the past couple weeks. That's been great. Shav, thank you as well for coming on. Where can people find you and what should they know?
All right, so I gotta do my closing statement for you because I told Vel this the other day. So it was like over a year and a half ago. I didn't even know what TRUgaming was, and just looked up streaming podcasts and found you guys. So you guys got me into creating content full time, getting into it all. So appreciate you. Appreciate all you do, Green. Looking forward to future projects with you outside of Tru. So hopefully we can get that going, man. Love you, dude.
Awesome.
You guys can find me Twitter, Twitch, at Shavrolet, Instagram, the Shavrolet, all that fun stuff. Pretty simple.
Awesome stuff. Go check him out, guys. And yeah, it's been awesome to work with you, Shav. I'm glad to hear that you found the podcast and that helped you. That's the stuff that I love, and that it's been super motivating to do this year after year. And Veli, last but not least, you know the deal.
Yeah. Real quick, obviously, got to say something. When I first started streaming, GreenChord actually found me, and he's the reason why I'm sponsored here at TRUgaming. I've been sponsored. I think I'm the longest running sponsored streamer. Weird flex. And but like that was like literally a month into me streaming, and he's always been super supportive, and it's gonna suck. Like I didn't think I'd be emotional right now. This is weird. But he's been a part of my whole stream like the entire time, you know what I mean? And it's just crazy. And it was really, really cool having you, man.
Awesome. Yeah, dude, it's been a wild 3.5 years. I gotta say that. But thank you guys all for coming out and listening to the show. Make sure you check out the links if you're listening offline. And again, this probably won't be here next week, but stay tuned to Twitter and Discord and everything else, and we'll update you on the status of the show in the coming weeks here. And again, I just want to say thank you for everyone who came out and listened to the show, who left feedback, emails, Twitter DMs, everything else. You guys make the show what it is, and I'm just really proud of everything we've accomplished here. So make sure you keep leaving us feedback on those places I mentioned if you haven't already, and we will see you guys next time. I'll definitely be listening to the show and still supporting everything else happening here, and I hope you guys that you will too. So with that said, I guess we'll go ahead and
you this time.
Sign off. All me.
Yeah,
All
you
right.
got it.
Blaze up. You gotta do it, chat. If you do nothing else, blaze up today.